From Master Rank 24 to Master Rank 49, we want to level up our forest area of the Guiding Lands to level 4, which is the max level for now. We'll be able to do this method. Now some of you might know that this is key and getting rare decorations. So we have to find a build that everybody can make and it's consistent. Also, for the optimal spread build, we want to use armor parts which we can't craft before we reach Master Rank 70, such as Brute Tigrex chest. And so for us at this point, it is not really the best way to go. The second reason why I recommend Sticky over Spread and most other weapons is that it is very comfy to play. You can keep your distance and you can more easily dodge attacks because of Evade Window level 3. You can auto reload while evading, and so you always stay in motion, and you can deal KO damage at the same time with Sticky. So on top of doing good damage, it also supports not only yourself but also teammates if you're playing online. We want to be using this build until we reach Master Rank 49, where we need to do the Tempered Rathian and Tempered Nightshade Paolumo quest in order to progress further and extend our Guiding Lands area to cap to level 5. Once we cleared that, we can immediately get a lot of points, especially with the Metal Dragon studios, as they are exclusive to Volcano and can only level up this particular area. With both of these areas on level 6, we have access to a lot of the important monsters. To do the monsters shown on screen here if we can, since these give a lot of points. So once we hit Master Rank 69, we unlock our next urgent quest, Tempered Glavenus and Tempered Mercurius, which bring us to Master Rank 70, and this unlocks our Guiding Lands area cap to level 6. At this point, we will go back into the Guiding Lands and start leveling up the Volcano and the Forest to level 6. Here I definitely recommend making use of the trap spam strategy, since it will save you a lot of time. The best monsters to trap spam for Volcano are Levazioth, Seething Basil, Uragon, and Brachydios, as they are exclusive to Volcano and can only level up this particular area. With both of these areas on level 6, we have access to a lot of the important monsters: Gold Rathians, Stivarathalos, Rajang, Scarred Yangaruga, and Basil. They all give a lot of points, especially with the Metal Dragons. We will benefit from our Sticky build, since those can be a lot harder to deal with if you're using a spread build. Especially when they constantly are flying and we are forced to keep close distance to deal damage with spread, whereas here with Sticky we can still shoot from the distance no matter if a monster is flying or not. And here we will grind until we reach Master Rank 99, where we unlock our next urgent quest, Runa Nergigante. Once this quest is cleared, we finally unlock the last level for Guiding Lands. We can keep our forest on level 6 for now, but we will definitely want to bring the Volcano to level 7, because this gives us access to a lot of Tempered Elder Dragons, Metal Dragons, Tempered Basil, Savage Joe and Rajang, and lastly Runa Nergigante. The first thing we want to focus on now is getting Tempered Rajang, which we need to upgrade our Rajang-led bowgun and get 10% more attack with the upgrade. One thing I have to mention about Savage Joe is that this guy can be super easy if you know how to fight him properly, but he can also be super hard. You want to make sure you use the flinch method, which means hitting him during the specific attack, so he will, which brings us to Master Rank 70, and this unlocks our Guiding Lands area cap to level 6. At this point, we will go back into the Guiding Lands and start leveling up the Volcano and the Forest to level 6. Here I definitely recommend making use of the trap spam strategy, since it will save you a lot of time. The best monsters to trap spam for Volcano are Levazioth, Seething Basil, Uragon, and Brachydios, as they are exclusive to Volcano and can only level up this particular area. With both of these areas on level 6, we have access to a lot of the important monsters: Gold Rathians, Stivarathalos, Rajang, Scarred Yangaruga, and Basil. They all give a lot of points, especially with the metal dragons. We will benefit from our sticky build since those can be a lot harder to deal with if you're using a spread build. Especially when they constantly are flying and we are forced to keep close distance to deal damage with spread, whereas here with sticky we can still shoot from the distance no matter if a monster is flying or not. And here we will grind until we reach Master Rank 99, where we unlock our next urgent quest, Runa no Gigante. Once this quest is
Okay. That didn't even. That barely even increased it. Not even a level. Half a level. Yo, yeah.
Hi.
Actually, with the metal dragons, we will ban this particular area. With both of these areas, Uragaan and Brachydios forest to level 6. Here I definitely recommend making use of the trap spam strategy since it will save you a lot of time. The best monsters to trap spam for Volcano are Lavasioth, Seething Basil, Uragaan, and Brachydios, as they are exclusive to Volcano and can only level up this particular.
This video is brought to you by Squarespace. The idea is simple. Can I beat every single 3D Mario game without a single death? I've played these games tons of times. It shouldn't pose much of an issue, right? Well, today we're gonna find out, but I've decided to add a bit of spice to this challenge. Now, you guys have watched The Matrix, right? Pretty sick movie if I say so myself. I've taken some inspiration from the whole red pill, blue pill idea. But instead of pills, I've added a red mushroom and blue mushroom to this challenge. These mushrooms are lifelines in case I die along the way, but they also have consequences. If I die, the red mushroom will allow me to continue playing the game I'm on, but I have to restart that game from the very beginning. If I take the blue mushroom, I can keep playing, but any deaths after that means the challenge is over. So of course, we started things off with Super Mario 64. Knowing the stakes are extremely high, I thought very carefully about what is most likely to cause me to die. And look, I've beaten this game in ways you couldn't even imagine, but I'm a mere mortal being. I'm bound to make a few mistakes along the way. So what I decided to do was purposefully pick levels that have little to no death pits. Bob-omb Battlefield doesn't really have a way to die easily, so I got a few stars there without any issues. Next, I went to Cool Cool Mountain, but I was very careful about what stars to get. Since I could technically die from falling in a lot of spots, I only picked the easiest stars and the ones I was very confident I could do without mistakes. I normally like to get star 6 by jumping down this mountain and jump kicking at the bottom to land safely, but one mistimed input would force me to use one of my mushrooms, so I only did a few of the basic stars. Whomp's Fortress technically has a lot of death zones, but the stars themselves are incredibly easy. The only one I didn't do was 100 in red coins, since there's a few areas I could fall that would lead to my demise, and following that was Peach's Slide. I got the stars I needed and moved on to the wing cap level. While I could fall here, you don't lose a life like with Peach's Slide, so it's fine if I mess up the red coins. But again, I've played this level a billion times and there weren't any problems. The aquarium and Jolly Roger Bay were pretty easy because both levels don't have death zones, although I did get into red health while going for the treasure chests. I don't know why I kept hitting the pillars, but I cut it pretty close with that one. With 23 stars, I went to Bowser in the Dark World, and decided to not bother with the red coins. Again, I've gotten them tons of times, but a lot of the red coins are in tricky spots, so I didn't want to risk it. Instead of going to the basement, I actually went to Big Boo's Haunt because this is another level with no death zones. While I didn't have the Vanish Cap, I managed to get most of the stars here, caught Mips, got the ship star, and was ready for Bowser in the Fire Sea. This is another level where the lava could easily take a life from me, so I played it safe and avoided the red coins again. With a couple BLJs, I got to the final Bowser and took him out. And yeah, look, if I'm being real, I wasn't worried about dying in this game. It's the other 3D Marios that I was more concerned with since I don't have as much experience playing them. And next up is Super Mario Sunshine, and this is gonna be a different story. While I've beaten this game quite a few times, I'm nowhere near as competent with the controls compared to Mario 64. Mario is very fidgety and sensitive. Tiny movements with the joystick can literally make or break me. To simply beat this game, I just have to collect every 7th shine in all the main levels. The good news about that is I don't have to do the Pachinko machine or the lily pad stage, and thank God because there's no way I'd get those on the first attempt. So while it's really not that many shines, that also means that I have to play every secret level without FLUDD and without making mistakes. This was by far my biggest concern, because it's incredibly easy to choke on these stages if you aren't careful. Going into Shine 3 and Bianco Hills was terrifying. I know these jumps aren't that hard, but one little slip up would force me to use one of my Matrix mushrooms. Jumping across these stars was a little terrifying, but overall, this one wasn't too bad. I went to Rico Harbor next, and Shine 4 was the next secret level. These rotating prisms are iconic and look like you could slip up and die, but I was feeling pretty good. A lot of this challenge isn't even about the game itself, it's all about the mindset. I tried my best to have confident yet cautious optimism while playing, and that helped keep my nerves down. I knew I could beat these levels without mistakes if I was just methodical, and while there were a couple of close slip-ups, I got through this one too. So much of Mario Sunshine is thinking a couple moves ahead to ensure that you don't mess up. Like on this last rotating platform, I knew I was going to land really close to the side and already planned a side flip to get enough height to survive. But I had a very scary call with episode 6. For this one, you have to collect red coins while surfing on the bloopers. I got the red coins with no issue, but the scariest part is actually getting the shine. I have died so many times mistiming my jump onto the dock, and this time... Wait, I jumped on another blooper? I had no idea you could even do that, and I hate that this happened. Because holy crap, this blooper is way harder to control, so I had to very carefully weave around the water and get the shine. Like I said, it's all about the small things that you really have to be aware of. That's what's most likely to cause a death. After that, I went back to Bianco Hills, and Shine 6 was another challenging one. While I usually go across the red and blue platforms quickly without thinking about it much, I was way more careful this time around. I very safely jumped from place to place and got the shine. After that was Gelato Beach. The first shine here is actually one of the easiest secret areas. You jump across a bunch of sand, and it's very straightforward. I headed into Pinna Park next. Shine 2 was our next secret, and this one also isn't an issue. These platforms appear and disappear, and it's honestly not hard to do. But Shine 6 is another story. I've never liked playing this one, as the jumps are a lot scarier. These colored 8 cubes move pretty slowly, but the jumps to clear them are not as easy as they look. And then the end tenses me up a bit too. You basically just do some wall jumping, but it is very easy to misalign a wall jump and fall to your death. And the platforms here are quite narrow. I made a few mistakes while climbing up, but I managed to get the shine regardless. Serena Beach was next. And after getting a shine, I decided to get one of the nozzles from Shadow Mario. I didn't really feel like seeing his little cutscene pop up after every shine, so I grabbed that and got a random shine in this building just for the heck of it. Then I went to Piana Village and, oh, hold on, I'm actually making really great progress. I'm shocked I haven't died at all yet. And I was about to approach some of the hardest secret levels in the game. For some reason though, I didn't play much of that level and decided to go to Noki Bay next. I guess the reason I did that is that I was trying to get rid of the cutscenes by hitting up all the different areas. For Shine 6, the secret area was another ass-clutching experience. I had to nail these wall jumps to hit these moving platforms, and I almost fell by trying to grab this pole. Yeah, like I said earlier, it's the little things I'm worried about. After several tight jumps though, I got across and was in the clear. I went back to Serena Beach, and Shine 2 is also terrifying. There's lots of enemies that I could bonk into, and these spinning gears are really awkward to walk across. I almost slipped to my death several times, but I managed to get across and clear the level. Shine 4's secret has a ton of huge rotating cubes to avoid, and honestly, this one isn't too bad. I had to be careful to not get squished and clear the large jump at the end, but I was fine. I was actually getting really close to the end. I am shocked I haven't used any of my mushrooms yet. Piana Village was all I had left to do, with only a couple tough levels. Real quick, let's take a break to talk about our sponsor, Squarespace. This is the best and most powerful place to create the slickest websites. New to Squarespace is the Fluid Engine, a next-generation design system that makes it even easier to make a website. There's also Squarespace extensions that connect your store to vetted third-party tools to extend functionality, and the analytics page makes it easy to see who's visiting your site and where people are coming from. I've updated my site this year and added a small blogging section, where I'll write a bit about any specific game you've played. This month, I've written about Pokemon Legends ZA. So with that, go to squarespace.com/Nathaniel to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. The link is in the description. Shine 3 has lava covering the entire stage, and while I have some cheesy ways to beat it, the strats I usually use are very risky, and I needed to find another solution. What I decided to do instead was head to the left and walk across this little strip. Then I climbed up this massive tree and jumped across to safety to reach the shine. I don't think I've ever collected the shine this way. It really wasn't that hard to pull off. If any of you out there struggle with the shine too, well, there you go. There's a pretty easy solution that just about anybody could do. Shine 5 was the final secret level to tackle. And this one involves pianas throwing you across platforms. This is actually one of my most played secret levels, and that's because I've died here more times than I could count. But because of all the experience, the piana's position and angles have been burned in my brain, and I was able to get across safely. At that point, I got all the shines I needed to unlock Corona Mountain, and my final challenge was this damn boat ride. Okay, well, not really. This is also pretty easy if you take it slow. So after disturbing Bowser's family vacation and smashing his gooning bowl of goo, I beat Super Mario Sunshine without dying. I'm genuinely surprised that I didn't die here, because it's really easy to choke when playing Mario Sunshine. But boy oh boy, Super Mario 64 DS. While I'm very familiar with Mario 64's controls, Mario 64 DS is a completely different thing. I've talked about this game so many times, you already know how much I despise the physics and movement in this game. It just feels clunky to play, and that was a big problem for this challenge. There's no using backwards long jumps to skip to the end quickly, so I had no choice but to collect 80 stars to beat the game. While I could get a lot of the same stars like I did in the original, I was gonna have to play harder levels near the end, and that was very worrisome because of the awkward controls, but there wasn't much I could do about that besides to just play on. And I got a bunch of stars in Bob-omb Battlefield and Peach's Slide. Sunshine Isles was our first new level to play, and I went here because there's, well, really no possible way to die. It's literally a beach. I'd gotten enough stars for the Goomboss battle, and this was pretty straightforward too. I had to come here no matter what so I could unlock Mario and take on the Bowser fights. But before doing that, I went to the aquarium in Jolly Roger Bay again. Whomp's Fortress followed that, and once again I just avoided the stars where I could potentially fall into the death pit. After that was the Cap Stage, Cool Cool Mountain, Big Boo's Haunt, Battle 4, and wow, I'm making some good headway. I've definitely been playing slower than I usually do, but it's worth it to ensure that I get as far as possible. While I was at Big Boo's Haunt, I also did the Luigi area just because he's the safest character to use. With his flying backflip, it'll make dangerous jumps much easier to manage. After 32 stars, I finally went into Bowser in the Dark World, and used Balloon Mario to float myself up top. I've always found it amusing that this power-up was added to the level. It makes the stage like 50 times easier. Although Bowser was a bit tricky, Mario's turning is not as smooth as the original, so I had to be sure to not bump into him. But once that was taken care of, I headed into Dire Dire Docks and started Bowser in the Fire Sea. After taking on the first Bowser, I was feeling pretty good about knocking him out again. Oh my god, my first death! Okay, so I guess I have to decide. Do I take the red mushroom or the blue mushroom? Ultimately, I opted with the red mushroom, meaning I was forced to restart Super Mario 64 DS and try again. While it sucked to have to replay all these stars, it made more sense considering I was still fairly early into the game itself, so I'd rather do that than risk ending the challenge with a second death from the blue mushroom. So after an hour or two, I recollected all the stars and was way more cautious with the second Bowser fight. It's all about the damn controls, they're such a pain to get used to. I actually went back to Dire Dire Docks despite how slow and tedious the level is. At least there's no death pits and the stars really aren't that challenging. At this point, most levels coming up were going to be dangerous to play. While Lethal Lava Land isn't hard, touching the lava just once could easily kill me because the physics are much less freeing. There's been tons of times that I've touched lava on Mario 64 DS and died because I couldn't realign Mario correctly to go back to land. That's what I was worried about happening the most. I even used Balloon Mario to reach the bully arena, just to be extra precautious. Thankfully, nothing wrong happened, and I could move on to Hazy Maze Cave. This is another stage that has some death pits, but I just picked easy stars and did what I could to avoid my demise. My favorite unique star in this area is the Metal Cap room, where you use Balloon Mario to float up top and grab the star hidden above. I just think it's so cool to use the power-up like this, because you really don't see it used very often in this manner. I went to Shifting Sandland next, and I did very few stars here. The quicksand was just asking me to look into the light, so I did not venture very much in this stage. What? I died again? Oh my god. Yeah, that's really not good, because now I have no choice but to use the blue mushroom. While I can keep playing from where I am now, if I die at any point for the rest of this challenge, it's completely over. So with that wonderful thought in my head, I switched to Luigi and headed on up to the next floor. I tackled Wet Dry World as this is another level without any death pits, so I had no issues here. And Snowman's Land was the same story. It wasn't all that challenging to do. However, I was terrified of getting the newly placed Silver Star that's underneath the Chill Bully. One slip up on the Koopa Shell and I'd be dead in an instant, but I was thankfully able to get it without faults. Although for some reason, I almost died to the Chill Bully fight. Yeah, basically I slipped up a few times, landed in the ice, and dear god, I got down to 1 hit point. That one was way too close. But now I'm over 60 stars in. So with Luigi, I went back and did some cleanup stars from earlier stages. I really didn't want to play Tick-Tock Clock or Rainbow Ride, as I wasn't in the notion of trying those whatsoever. You can probably guess why. But I did consider unlocking Wario, until remembering how easy it is to die against the Chief Chili fight, and realized it just wasn't worth the risk. Sorry, Wario. I don't need him anyway. I managed to get 80 stars and take out Bowser without dying. So while I technically died twice in Mario 64 DS, the mushrooms kept me safe, but not for long. Because now it was time for Super Mario Galaxy. While this game is much easier to control, the challenge here is just avoiding small mistakes and staying focused. This game in particular can take a full day to simply beat at the bare minimum. With no mushrooms, the only thing I could really do is just pick galaxies and missions that I was comfortable doing. I was also skipping every Comet Star as they're just harder versions of the original stars. But beyond that, I really don't have much to say about the stars themselves. I had been playing for quite a while today, and I was starting to get a little bit tired and drowsy. And that's because outside of some black hole death pits, there's very little danger. Sure, you've got the hidden level in Beach Bowl where thwomps can squish you in one hit, but this is another Mario game that I've beaten several times. I know how the jig rolls, and I was rolling right along with it. In fact, I was over 30 stars in, which means I was already halfway there. Hey, maybe I actually can get through all of Galaxy 1 without dying. Well, like I said, it was all about the small mistakes, and that there was a tiny slip-up that ended the challenge. While I'm sad I wasn't able to beat this challenge, I'm happy to at least get to the 4th 3D Mario game. That's about half.
Game Freak has come up with a variety of ways to show love to older generation Pokemon in newer generation games. New evolutions, new forms, new species that reference the old ones, and more. The original 151 Kanto Pokemon have been around the longest, and thus have had the most opportunities to receive this extra attention. Therefore, most have gotten something. However, to this day, there are still several left with absolutely nothing. Today, I'm gonna go through every original Pokemon line to find the ones that Game Freak has forgotten about for almost 30 years. And for those that have been, I'm gonna give my own ideas for what I think they should get, if anything. I should mention that I have done this video before, back in the fall of 2021. But since then, Pokemon released Legends Arceus, Scarlet and Violet, and Legends ZA. So this video will serve as that one's much needed update. We began with the Kanto starter trio. Venusaur, Charizard, and Blastoise all received Mega Evolutions in X and Y, with Charizard actually getting 2. All three also got Gigantamax forms in Sword and Shield, although Venusaur and Blastoise didn't get theirs until the DLC. Butterfree got a Gigantamax form in Sword and Shield. Beedrill got a Mega Evolution in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Pidgeot also got a Mega Evolution at the same time as Beedrill. Rattata and Raticate received Dark Normal Alolan forms in Sun and Moon. And we've now officially reached the first forgotten line, Spearow and Fearow. Despite being better in the earliest games, in my opinion, they have played second fiddle to the Pidgeot line the whole time. I think it's high time we change that, because I like Fearow. To me, it's clear that Fearow needs a new permanent evolution. I personally don't like it when underpowered Pokemon that could get a permanent evolution just get a Mega Evolution, because then when Mega Evolution goes away in a future game, the Pokemon is bad again. Fearow can evolve since it's only the second stage, and it is definitely underpowered. Its base stat total is only 442. That's near Pokemon like a Gligar, Sneasel, and Piloswine, which all got later gen evolutions. Additionally, if Fearow got an evolution, then I could evolve my first ever shiny Pokemon, a shiny Fearow named Shiny. And that'd be really nice, because then I can make it look better. This is what shiny Fearow looked like in Gen 3 when I caught it, golden and beautiful. Today, it is barf green. Fan art of Fearow evolutions, either Mega or regular, often make it dark flying type, due to Fearow and Spearow's often antagonistic roles in the anime, and of course the name Fear-O. But none of Fearow's dex entries actually describe it as being aggressive or cruel. It might steal a little food, but like, that's very normal for birds. Instead, I have a personal preference type idea that isn't based on nothing. An electric flying evolution. Fearow's red-blue dex entry says, with its huge and magnificent wings, it can keep aloft without ever having to land for rest. This made me think of its wings spread out in the sun all day, which then made me think of solar panels. This is my Fearow evolution idea, where its wings become much like solar panels. So while it's flying all day, it charges up its own electrical power from the sun. I'd call it Severo. I needed something that could rhyme with Spearow and Fearow, and Severe worked quite nicely. I had to change the spelling though, because otherwise it would kind of look like Severero. By the way, unless otherwise credited, the new Pokemon art shown in this video, like Severo here, was all made by my lovely graphic artist, Ellie. He makes my thumbnails too. Shout out to him. The next evolution line in the dex is another forgotten one, Ekans and Arbok. Frankly, I think this is crazy. The original iconic Team Rocket Pokemon were Meowth, Weezing, and Arbok. And while, spoiler, the other two got something, Arbok hasn't. And it's the coolest of the three, in my opinion. Back in 2016, during the lead up to Sun and Moon, I made a video with some ideas for new Alola forms. And one of my ideas was to have Ekans and Arbok become water types based on sea snakes. I still think this is a very cool idea, but a permanent evolution is more important for Arbok. Its base stat total is only 448. The most venomous snake in the world is the inland taipan, a snake that is, quoting from Wikipedia, extremely fast, agile, and can strike instantly with extreme accuracy. So this is my very fast and very deadly Arbok evolution, named Napiat. Taipan backwards, of course. It's poison dark type, since Arbok could have gotten dark in Gen 2 due to its aggressive behavior. Napiat's face is both dark like an inland Taipan's, and the pattern on Arbok's belly made real. Arbok no longer needs markings to intimidate you. Napiat is that scary on its own. Additionally, the red and yellow stripes reference the old king snake versus coral snake saying, red and black, venom lack. Red and yellow, kill a fellow. Next are Pikachu and Raichu, which are, obviously, very not forgotten. They got Pichu in Gold and Silver, Electric Psychic Alolan Raichu in Sun and Moon, Gigantamax Pikachu in Sword and Shield, and now 2 Mega Raichus in Legends EA's DLC. You could even argue that Cosplay Pikachu, Cap Pikachu, and Let's Go Partner Pikachu count as well. It's the series mascot. This is to be expected. But woof, leave some for the rest of them. Sandshrew and Sandslash got Ice Steel Alolan forms in Sun and Moon. And then we have 2 evolution lines in a row that have been forgotten. The Nidoran lines. This baffles me. When I think of strong, popular, iconic Gen 1 Pokemon outside the starters and legends, I think of Gyarados, Arcanine, and Nidoking. And yet somehow, Nidoking and Nidoqueen have been totally forgotten. They obviously cannot permanently evolve, and while they could get Megas, I'd like to see regional variants over Megas, specifically so that we can make them Steel type. Their dex entries discuss their tough skin a lot. Its steel-like hide adds to its powerful tackle. Its horns are so hard they can pierce a diamond. It is recognized by its rock-hard hide and its extended horn. Be careful with the horn as it contains venom. Its hard scales provide strong protection. It uses its hefty bulk to execute powerful moves. Nidoqueen is better at defense than offense. With scales like armor, this Pokemon will shield its children from any kind of attack. I would love to see regional variants of these two that have their hides hardened to be actual metal. I think they could be pure steel, steel ground, or steel poison, or maybe even one steel ground and the other steel poison. I'm pretty flexible, but I just really would love to see these guys as steel types. Not only is it very cool, it's pretty logical. Clefairy and Clefable got Cleffa in Gold and Silver, a type change to Fairy in X and Y, and Mega Clefable in Legend ZA. Vulpix and Ninetales got Alolan forms in Sun and Moon, Ice and Ice Fairy respectively. Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff got Igglybuff in Gold and Silver, a type change to normal Fairy in X and Y, and the Paradox Pokemon Screamtail in Scarlet and Violet. Screamtail isn't connected evolutionarily, but it still counts. If you like Jigglypuff, you're also gonna like the bigger, meaner Jigglypuff.
Ha! It is I, Grunty Boy, and I am devastated.
Why? What happened?
I bought some new posters to spruce up my room in the hideout, but when I was hanging one up, I sneezed and tore it right in half. And then I did it again! These hands, they are only destruction!
Oh, don't be so dramatic, and next time get posters from Displate, the sponsor of today's video. Displate offers unique metal posters, a much more durable alternative to typical paper posters, so they'll actually survive a move. They mount to the wall super easily as well. No tools, just a sticker leaf and magnet, so you won't upset any landlords. This also means you can swap them around no problem.
Ooh, that's fantastic! I can't actually drill into the walls of the hideout. Last person to do so, collapsed the kitchen.
Displate has over 2 million artworks available, many by independent artists, and they have tons of officially licensed designs from major franchises like Star Wars, Marvel, Demon Slayer, K-pop Demon Hunters, and more. I myself got this set from their Avatar: The Last Airbender collection, my favorite show of all time, and it was really easy to hang all of them.
Wow, those look great! Wait, Agna Kayla?
Yeah, apparently that's the name of the Northern Water Tribe, which was news to me, but it is real. Collect your passion with Displate. Use the link in the description below or use code M&J to get an exclusive discount of up to 38% on your new Displates, which should arrive fast in just 4 to 5 business days.
Amazing! I'm ordering some right away. Soon the hideout will look so much better, and I won't have so much blood on my hands. My own blood from the paper cuts. Ta-ta!
Zubat and Golbat got Crobat in Gold and Silver. Oddish, Gloom, and Vileplume got Bellossom at the same time. And now we've reached another forgotten line. Paris and Parasect. No, them being incredibly violent in Legends Arceus does not count. I gotta say, I get why these two haven't gotten anything. They're not popular at all. And beyond that, Parasect is catastrophically awful. Its base stat total is only 405. It has 6 weaknesses, with 2 of them 4 times. And in fact, it was the only Pokemon to ever have 3 4x weaknesses, since Bug was weak to poison in Gen 1. Oh, and also the mushroom is almost totally taken over, so it's doing bad in every sense. But unfortunately for the Bug, the coolest way to make Parasect better is to give it a new permanent evolution where the Bug dies. Like, totally dies. It's like almost dead. I'm pretty, like full dead. A while back, Reddit user Eli D. Webster posted this Parasect evolution idea to my subreddit. and I thought the idea to turn it into a grass ghost type, since the bug fully dies, was brilliant. Not only is their design creative, but it's much better typing. 5 weaknesses instead of 6, none of them 4 times, and now it has 2 immunities. This is my own idea for a grass ghost parasect evolution, which I'll call Parasol, which is parasite and soul, obviously, but also parasol, an umbrella, but more importantly, a type of mushroom. Although this design is specifically inspired by shaggy ink cap mushrooms because I thought they looked spooky. Much like Eli D. Webster's Paraseptic, the mushroom has enveloped the dead bug body, but the bug's spirit still inhabits the host, angry and vengeful. That's why the claws kind of look like Grim Reaper scythes. Scythes? 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 Regardless of the design though, Parasect needs a permanent evolution that changes its awful typing, or it will never be anywhere close to usable in any circumstances. The next forgotten Pokemon are Venonat and Venomoth. I think Game Freak hates them. Bulbapedia says Venomoth and its pre-evolved form are the Pokemon that went the longest without appearing in a regional Pokedex, excluding their appearances in remakes. Prior to the release of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, their last appearance in a regional Pokedex was in Crystal, almost 22 years earlier. Yikes. Although, it does make some amount of sense. If you think about it, there's several other butterfly and moth Pokemon that are pretty much across the board more popular. Like, who cares about Venomoth when you've got Volcarona? Should Venomoth get something, it could use an evolution. Its base stat total is only 450, which is stronger than Butterfree and Beedrill, but they're 3rd stage, so they're stuck. However, I couldn't think of a Venomoth evolution design idea that wasn't just more Venomoth. And if it's just more Venomoth, that'd be like a Mega Venomoth, and I don't want a Mega Venomoth. However, then I noticed Venomoth's Ruby Sapphire Dex entry. Venomoth is nocturnal. It is a Pokemon that only becomes active at night. Its favorite prey are small insects that gather around streetlights, attracted by the light in the darkness. Moths are well known for being attracted to light, but what if there was a moth that is the light? This is my Bug Electric regional variant of Venomoth. The wings are based on the Madagascan moon moth, while its antennae are streetlights, its eyes flashlights, and its abdomen a bug zapper. This Venomoth uses these to attract and zap prey. I think this Venomoth could then evolve into something that wouldn't just be more Venomoth. But I don't have art of that evolution. I'd like to see yours though. If you decide to come up with your own regional Venomoth evolution, put it on my subreddit, r/MNJTV. Might get into the next meme review episode on MNJTV Extra. Diglett and Dugtrio both received Ground Steel Alolan forms in Sun and Moon. But Scarlet and Violet also introduced the new Convergent Evolution species, Wiglet and Wugtrio, which are basically just water-type Diglett and Dugtrio, except they're eels now. Meowth, wow, they love Meowth. Meowth received a Dark-type Alolan form in Sun and Moon, and then Sword and Shield gave it both a Steel-type Galarian form and a Gigantamax form. Persian got the Dark-type Alolan form, but not the Steel-type Galarian form. Instead, those Meowth become Berserker. That means this line has gotten 5 different new forms or species added, which is tied with the Pikachu line. Assuming you don't count Cosplay Cap or Partner Pikachu, which, like, I don't feel like you really should. They're basically the same Pikachu, they just act a little different. I will say this makes quite a bit of sense, though, since Meowth is one of the most famous of the original Pokemon. Ash had Pikachu, Team Rocket had Meowth. But then we reach this next line, one that is almost as famous as Pikachu and Meowth, and yet somehow, shockingly, has gotten nothing. The next forgotten Pokemon are Psyduck and Golduck. How? How is this possible? Well, actually, Golduck I get. No one really cares about Golduck, but Psyduck? We love Psyduck! It is one of the most popular Gen 1 Pokemon. Retro Pokemon merch had Pikachu, the starters, Meowth, Jigglypuff, and Psyduck. And also Poliwhirl sometimes, randomly. But Psyduck was, and still is, everywhere. Meowth has 35 results on PokemonCenter.com. Psyduck has 62. This line needs something. A regional variant could work, but to be honest, I think a Mega Evolution is more straightforward. Golduck's BST is 500, so while it could use a permanent Evo, a Mega also makes sense. And clearly, the Mega should make it the Water Psychic type that it was always meant to be. It appears by waterways at dusk. It may use telekinetic powers if its forehead glows mysteriously. My idea for a Water Psychic Mega Golduck does something that many other Mega Evolutions do, which is take one body part and make it really big. Since Golduck's forehead glows when it uses psychic powers, if its powers enhance to the point of actually turning it Water Psychic type, then that little red thing could grow huge and send psychic energy coursing through its body. And if you want fun energy coursing through your body, that's a weird way to say that. Essentially, I'm trying to say if you've watched this far into the video, you probably enjoy the videos that I make. So a great way to tell YouTube that you want to see more of them is to subscribe, and I'd really appreciate it if you did. Also, getting very close to 2.5 million subscribers. Very excited to pass that soon, and you could help me get there. Mankey and Primeape got Annihilape in Scarlet and Violet, which is a Pokemon I personally love. Huge fan of Annihilape. I love that it seems to be inspired by a Dex entry, hence why I'm doing that myself quite a bit in this video. Growlithe and Arcanine got Rock, Fire, Hisuian forms in Legends Arceus. Poliwag, Poliwhirl, and Poliwrath got Politoed in Gold and Silver. Alakazam got a Mega Evolution in X and Y. Machamp got a Gigantamax form in Sword and Shield. Victreebel got a Mega Evolution in Legends ZA. Tentacool and Tentacruel got Grass Ground Toedscool and Toedscruel in Scarlet and Violet. Like Wiglet and Wugtrio, these are new convergent evolution species, but they are clearly attention shown to the original jellyfish. Geodude, Graveler, and Golem got Rock Electric Alolan forms in Sun and Moon. Ponyta and Rapidash got Galarian forms in Sword and Shield. Ponyta Psychic and Rapidash Psychic Fairy. Slowpoke is another Pokemon that's gotten a lot. It and Slowbro got Slowking in Gold and Silver, then Slowbro got a Mega Evolution in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Then in Sword and Shield, all three got Galarian forms that replaced their water type with poison. Fun fact, for several years, Slowbro was the only Pokemon to have both a Mega Evolution and a regional variant. Now it's both Slowbro and Raichu. Magnemite and Magneton gained the Steel type in Gold and Silver, then Magnezone in Diamond and Pearl. Additionally, Scarlet and Violet added Sandy Shocks, an electric ground type Paradox Pokemon, referencing Magneton specifically. Farfetch'd got a pure fighting type Galarian form in Sword and Shield, and that form can evolve into Sirfetch'd. The next forgotten Pokemon are Doduo and Dodrio. I understand this to a degree. You can't really give Dodrio an evolution, Mega or regular, without just adding a fourth head, and like, personally, I think that's kind of boring, and I think Game Freak agrees, hence why they haven't done anything. But this does leave the door open for a fun regional variant. According to Bulbapedia, despite its name, Dodrio seems like it has more in common with ostriches than dodos. It also seems to show some similarities to the moa, an extinct flightless bird, and the emu, another flightless bird. It also resembles the kiwi in some ways as well. Its crests also indicate it was based on cassowaries. There, right there, that last one. Cassowaries are fascinating flightless birds closely related to ostriches and emus. All of them are ratites, and they have a reputation for being very dangerous. I'd like to see a Dodrio regional variant that goes full cassowary. And apparently, so did someone else. Reddit user Canis Aries made this design almost a decade ago. And my artist Ellie found this after I wrote and sketched out my idea. Theirs is very cool. I came up with it first. But I'm still showing you mine because it's different enough and we've already worked on it. And also, it's pretty different. Theirs is fighting flying, whereas mine isn't either of those. Cassowaries have a reputation for being really aggressive, and thus my cassowary Dodrio would be dark type. Additionally, cassowaries have hard crests on their heads, known as casques, and their feet have spear-like claws. If you make both of those metal, then this is a really cool, dark steel Dodrio. Seal and Dugong are the next forgotten Pokemon. Yeah, I don't think anyone's really surprised by this. They might be the most forgotten Gen 1 Pokemon just in general. They're just like really bland amongst a large roster of much more interesting water types. Dewgong's base stat total is 475, so not high, but not horrible, but still low enough to justify a permanent evolution. When coming up with an idea for one, I thought about their names, Seal and Dewgong, which are misspellings of real marine mammals that they're based on. However, I noticed something odd about the Pokemon compared to their real-life counterparts. The Pokemon aren't fat. Many Seals and Dugongs are quite pudgy fellows to insulate them in cold waters, while Seal and Dewgong are sleek and comparatively thin despite having thick fat as an ability. I want to see Dewgong evolve into something that's properly fat, so I designed one. This is Manatee. Of course, a misspelling of manatee, a lovely, portly fellow that can shrug off attacks with its blubber. I am so tickled by this design that I'd love to see it in any form. And I do think it could work as Mega Dewgong too, although a permanent evolution would certainly be better for Dewgong long term. Grimer and Muck got Poison Dark Alolan forms in Sun and Moon. But then we have another forgotten pair, Shelder and Cloyster. This is so weird. Like, Cloyster's counterpart, Onix, it's gotten stuff, so why hasn't Cloyster? Cloyster has a base stat total of 525, the highest of all the forgotten Gen 1 Pokemon, excluding Legends. So while it is 2 stages and could evolve, I think a regional variant or Mega Evolution suit it better. I didn't come up with any variant ideas that I liked, so here's my idea for Mega Cloyster. It's a pretty simple premise. To shore up its defenses even more, hopefully that pitiful special defense especially, its shell totally encloses it, much like how it did with Shelder. It can open though, and you can see the seam is jagged, so when it clamps down on enemies, it does a lot more damage than before. Gengar got a Mega Evolution in X and Y, then a Gigantamax form in Sword and Shield, the only Pokemon outside the Kanto starter trio to get both. Onix got Steelix, a Gold and Silver, then Steelix later got a Mega Evolution in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Drowsy and Hypno are the next forgotten Pokemon, and this isn't really surprising to me. They're kind of creepy, and like, I've personally not been a fan of Drowsy the last few years, because that stupid meme about me, it, persisting for far longer than any meme should. Additionally, at first, I wasn't really sure how to change Hypno. Its base stat total is 483, low enough for a permanent evolution, but how could it be handled? A lot of people have suggested Psychic Dark because of how creepy Hypno is, since there was once an incident in which it took away a child it hypnotized. And I don't want to be a Hypno defender here. But like, that seems to have been an isolated incident, I think. I don't want to like stand up for Hypno. It's just like, there's that other Alola Dex entry that says it rarely harms people, and rarely isn't never, but just like, Psychic Dark just feels a bit uninspired. So I didn't like Psychic Dark and couldn't figure out how to advance the hypnotism piece. But then I realized that Hypno isn't mind controlling people like Malamar, it's just putting them to sleep so it can eat their dreams. So then I started thinking about like other ways that people are made to feel drowsy and fall asleep. I thought of melatonin and Benadryl, couldn't go anywhere with that. But then I remembered that movie, Rise of the Guardians, which featured the Sandman. The Sandman is a mythical character originating in Germanic and Scandinavian folklore. He visits children in the evening, sprinkles sleep-inducing sand into their eyes, and brings dreams. In the morning, the sleep sand is rubbed from the corner of the eyes. I love this idea. A new member of the Hypno line could be inspired by the Sandman and be a ground type. And once again, I am not the first person to come up with this. Dark Sylvania designed these really cool Drowsy and Hypno regional variants that are Fairy and Fairy ground type, where the Hypno is clearly based on the Sandman. I went a bit of a different route. This is Sandream. I am open to better name suggestions. I think this name is pretty mid. A psychic ground type Hypno evolution. It wields sleep sand that grows from its wrists, ankles, and mane, and of course it uses the sand to put enemies to sleep and eat their dreams. Unfortunately, the sand also makes Sandream itself sleepy, so it's a bit cranky. I gave it back Drowsy's more tapir-like nose. Never liked Hypno's weird one. And the brown markings are both reminiscent of Drowsy and make it just look more like a ground type. Also, its belly pattern is supposed to look a little like a pillow. I'm quite pleased with myself for this one. I went from not wanting to do anything for Hypno at all, but now, like, if Sandream was real, I might use that thing. I think it's pretty cool. Kingler got a Gigantamax form in Sword and Shield. Voltorb and Electrode are next, and funny story, here's what I said about them in my original video.
I don't think it deserves to have any new forms, both because its design concept is silly to begin with, but also because there's not anywhere for its design to really go.
And then, about 3 months later, so I was wrong. Never thought about wooden versions based on older Pokeballs. And frankly, this shows that the devs are smarter than me because that's genius. Anyways, as you can see, Voltorb and Electrode got electric grass Hisuian forms in Legends Arceus. Exeggutor got its iconic, comically tall, and somehow dragon-type Alolan form in Sun and Moon. Marowak also got an Alolan form in Sun and Moon, a fire ghost type. Hitmonlee and Hitmonchan, initially unrelated evolutionarily, got the mutual baby Tyrogue in Gold and Silver, alongside another member of the now branching line, Hitmontop. Lickitung got Licky Licky in Diamond and Pearl. Weezing got a poison fairy-type Galarian form in Sword and Shield. Rhyhorn and Rhydon got Rhyperior in Diamond and Pearl. Chansey got Blissey in Gold and Silver, then Happiny in Diamond and Pearl. Tangela got Tangrowth in Diamond and Pearl. Kangaskhan got a Mega Evolution in X and Y. Horsea and Seadra got Kingdra in Gold and Silver. And now finally some more forgotten Pokemon, Goldeen and Seaking. Much like Seel and Dugong, these are simply too bland amongst a sea of far more interesting water types. Also, Seaking is really bad. It has a base stat total of only 450, and every stat is bad except an okay attack. It does get Lightning Rod, which is a great ability for water types since it makes them immune. However, when it's hit by an electric move, it boosts the Pokemon's special attack. And Seaking's is god-awful. Game Freak might hate Seaking more than Parasect. The only way to redeem Seaking is to permanently evolve it. It's just too weak for a variant or Mega. This is my idea for one, Koizer, combining Koi and Kaiser. Goldeen and Seaking are part goldfish, part koi, so I leaned fully into the koi side, turning it streamlined and giving it a pattern inspired by the Showa koi. Now you could criticize this design with the same critique that Goldeen and Seaking often get, which is, that's just a fish with a horn. And if you say that, you would be right. However, that means that the evolution is faithful. And we should always make our evolutions faithful, just like our remakes. Right? Starmie got a Mega Evolution in Legends ZA. Mr. Mime has, weirdly, gotten a lot. It got Mime Jr. in Diamond and Pearl, then the Fairy type in X and Y. I thought it was done after that, but then Sword and Shield gave it an Ice Psychic regional form that could evolve into the new Pokemon, Mr. Run. Quite a lot for a Pokemon that I didn't think was popular. Or maybe it is popular? I don't know. I used to passionately hate this thing before I mellowed with age, so maybe I'm just out of touch. Scyther got Scizor in Gold and Silver, which then got a Mega Evolution in X and Y. Then several years later, to the surprise of many, Scyther got another new evolution, Kleavor in Legends Arceus. Jinx got Smoochum in Gold and Silver. But that's it. Only Pokemon in Gen 1 to get a baby and then nothing else. Electabuzz got Elekid in Gold and Silver, then Electivire in Diamond and Pearl. Its counterpart Magmar got the same things at the same times. Magby in Gold and Silver, then Magmortar in Diamond and Pearl. Pinsir got a Mega Evolution in X and Y. Tauros got a Paldean form in Scarlet and Violet. Well, actually, it kinda got 3. Paldean Tauros has 3 forms: Pure Fighting Combat Breed, Fire Fighting Blaze Breed, and Water Fighting Aqua Breed. 3 forms of a form. The only differences between them are their types, the type their Raging Bull attack becomes, and their weight, oddly enough. But those are significant differences, especially the typing. Earlier I was gonna say that Meowth is the only Pokemon to get more than one regional variant. But then I remembered Tauros, and I was like, oh wait, it kinda basically has 3. Gyarados got a Water Dark Mega Evolution in X and Y. Rest in peace, Dragon-type Gyarados. Lapras got a Gigantamax form in Sword and Shield. The next forgotten Pokemon is Ditto. But not only does this make sense, it's the only forgotten one that I feel strongly should remain that way. Ditto's whole thing is turning into other Pokemon, or occasionally little Animal Crossing protagonists. So what would an evolution, regional variant, or God forbid a Mega Evolution even do for Ditto? Like, if they're still Ditto, they're still gonna transform. So what's the point of a new design if they just transform into something else? The only thing that makes sense to me is a Paradox Pokemon inspired by Ditto that cannot transform. Hertzburst on Reddit made a cool past Paradox design based on a beta Ditto evolution. Ellie also whipped up this fun future Paradox idea where it looks like a D20. Instead of transforming, it just rolls deception checks. However, we definitely aren't getting new Paradox Pokemon anytime soon, and while you could maybe make one of these designs work for like a Convergent evolution Pokemon are evolving to fill the same niche. And if the niche is transforming, then it should just still be Ditto. Eevee and the original 3 Evolutions have of course gotten a lot. Umbreon and Espeon in Gen 2, Leafeon and Glaceon in Gen 4, and Sylveon in Gen 6. On top of that, Eevee got a Gigantamax form in Sword and Shield. And if you count it, Partner Eevee exists in Let's Go Eevee. Porygon has gotten a new evolution twice. Porygon 2 in Gold and Silver, then Porygon Z in Diamond and Pearl. Next are the Kanto fossils, and only one has not been forgotten, Aerodactyl. It got a Mega Evolution in X and Y. However, Ammonite, Amistar, Kabuto, and Kabutops have gotten absolutely nothing. I think that's a bit sad. Why did Aerodactyl get something while the others were left behind? Sure, Aerodactyl was more popular before 2014, when Twitch Plays Pokemon happened. Praise Helix! While Amistar and Kabutops are less powerful than Aerodactyl, it's not by much, and Mega Evolutions make the most sense. Regional variants just don't work. How could long-dead Pokemon recently revived Darwinian evolve just in the 30 years since the 90s? Even accounting for the fact that they're prevalent now thanks to fossil reviving. Maybe they could get permanent evolutions, but no fossil Pokemon ever have, so Megas make the most sense. This is my Mega Amistar design. It's pretty simple. I gave it longer tentacles to look more like the Ammonites it's based on. You kind of lose the star shape, but I can live with that. As for Mega Kabutops, I gave it more arms for more violence, made its head look a bit more like Kabuto's, and gave it a tail and mandibles inspired by Megalograptus, a type of Europterid, what Kabutops is based on. Snorlax got Munchlax in Diamond and Pearl, plus a Gigantamax form in Sword and Shield. Then we have the legendary birds, which got Galarian forms in Sword and Shield's DLC. Psychic Flying Articuno, Fighting Flying Zapdos, and Dark Flying Moltres. Dragonite finally got a Mega Evolution in Legends ZA. Mewtwo got 2 Mega Evolutions in X and Y. And then finally, the last forgotten Pokemon is Mew. Only a Mega makes sense. The ancestor of all Pokemon isn't gonna have a regional variant, and Legends don't get later gen evolutions. New forms, sure, like primal forms, but a Mega works well for Mew since Mewtwo has Megas. My idea for Mega Mew is simple. Make it look like Mewtwo, but less Frankenstein science gone wrong. It keeps its smoother features, but it's larger and more powerful. And those are all the forgotten Gen 1 Pokemon. Maybe someday they'll all be remembered, but there are certain ones that are higher priority. Like again, Psyduck. How do we have nothing for Psyduck? Thanks so much for watching, and let me know which of my new forgotten Pokemon designs you liked the most. And if you want to see another one of my videos where I go over every Pokemon in a region, check out my video on why getting all the Johto Pokemon in the Gen 3 games was almost impossible.
Roguelikes are very difficult games, and last time I attempted a back-to-back challenge, I got like 5 games in and then lost on the first level of Risk of Rain 2. So I decided the best course of action would be to up the ante, make it harder, and force myself to sit down and win 10 in a row. Wheel decides the game, I try to win as fast as possible, and the only new rule is I get 1 reroll to use for the entire challenge. So let's begin with... There's no way. That is actually unreal. Well, running it back, hopefully I do better this time. Risk of Rain 2 is the type of game where if you're not locked in, it can be very, very brutal. I'm gonna go over the idea I have for this build in just a little bit here, but first things first, let me not die. If you're not familiar with Risk of Rain 2, the goal here is pretty simple. This is a third-person game where you are trying to survive as long as possible before hitting this teleporter. We're gonna be looking for a number of these teleporters because that allows you to move on to the next level. You gotta survive for 5 levels before you go to the moon, which is the final level, and on the moon, you just gotta beat the final boss and hope that you make it out okay. And I'm already much further along than I was in that previous run. The game is actually being extremely kind to me right now. This was a very lucky stage 1, and I'll get into why exactly in just a second here. But after you KO the boss, you gotta wait in this zone for just a little bit longer, charge at the teleporter, and then you can escape. Basically, there's these things called Shrines of Chance, which I'm like not really selecting right now because I already used them, and they have a chance to give you up to 2 items each. You can see at the top of my screen, I have a lot of items after this first stage. It's actually extremely lucky. This is one of my best runs ever, at least at the start of it. And of all the characters in the game, the captain is best equipped to deal with those. I was hoping there would be another Shrine of Chance on this stage so I could demonstrate. Does not look like there is. Basically, Shrines of Chance are famous for just siphoning away all of your money, and money is important because that's how you get items. This is a roguelike. You need the items to get stronger, so hopefully the things don't eliminate you immediately after starting. The captain is unique, however, because he has an ability that makes anything in the vicinity of it completely free. And you can imagine that that's really great if there's something that has a chance to give you something, because you just keep buying it for free over and over and over again. So let me demonstrate for you really quick here. I put down this beacon. Everything in this range is suddenly going to become free, so this $94 chest is going to be hacked. It opens free of charge, and I get a free white item. In exchange for this incredible utility, the captain suffers from 1 fatal flaw, and this is actually the thing that cost me that last run, kind of. I mean, if I'm being nice to myself, that's the reason. If I'm being real, it's because I'm a little terrible. And that is he has no innate movement abilities. So all of the movement that's really important for this game, arguably the most important thing, is movement. He has none of it. So he needs to supplement that with items instead. I'm going to be looking out specifically for 1 item, which is the Hopu's Feather. It looks like a feather, it's green. If you see it, you'll know it. And while I did say movement is most important, damage is pretty important too. These bosses are really not dying. There's 3 of them here. Oh my god, I can't see what's happening. Because I hit that Shrine of the Mountain, and that Shrine of the Mountain is going to make the bosses even harder, but they'll give you an additional item at the end of defeating them. So I think that's worth it because items are really, really important here. You can see there's 2 items right here because I did that mountain shrine. All right, let's go on to stage number 3. Sulfur pools. This is a dangerous map. Number 1, because you have these flying enemies that are really, really deadly. But number 2, you have those, the sulfur pools themselves. Those are little explosives. They poison you, very dangerous, and if you don't have any kind of invulnerability, they can be very, very pesky to deal with. The captain, by the way, really has 1 main tool at his disposal, and it's this mouse 1, this shotgun, where at close range, it's a bunch of pellets, but you can hold it and you get this clean line of fire. It takes longer, but it's very, very nice. His secondary ability is this taser, which is going to freeze enemies in place for a bit, which is great, because his next one is this orbital strike that takes a little bit of time, so freezing enemies in place is really great, that way they lock into that line of sight. And here we go, here's a Shrine of Chance. Let me demonstrate how it works normally first. You put in your money, you have a chance to get an item, and I got nothing. You can see how that steals everything. But if I hack it, I mean, this is really where the beginning of this run came in clutch, because again, I found like 4 of those. And that's a free item right there. I can purchase it again, even if it costs $0. No harm, no foul. I'm just gonna keep standing here. You can imagine that would have siphoned away a ton of money, but instead, I got it for free. And there's another one right here. I mean, that's just perfect. I'm gonna send down this other beacon. just so it's gonna hack in the meantime. And not only is it good because it's free is great, but it saves you so much time in the run, and time is really important, not only for this challenge, but I'm trying to beat as many games as possible, and I'm trying to stay sane while doing so, but the difficulty just keeps scaling up higher and higher as this timer goes at the top right. Honestly, huge item right here. This is the Seed of Life. This is gonna give me 1 extra life. Really important, because I don't want to do what I did last time. I'm a little bit traumatized, I think. But alright, here's the next boss. We got ourselves another set of Beetle Queens. This time I don't have the Mountain Shrine, but because the difficulty has ticked up, as you can see in the top right of your screen, there's still 2 spawning. And alright, a couple more shots here should be all it takes. That's the boss down. What's it gonna be? Maybe the worst item in the game right now. That's unfortunate. Alright, on to the next level, and those of you with an astute eye may have noticed a really good map for me. I'll show you why in just a second. You may have noticed that the game's list is not the same as before. I took a couple out, I added a couple in, and somehow I still ended up with this going too close. So I don't know what's going on with that, but I'm gonna get rid of Elder Lemurian real quick. Those can also be an instant run killer if they get into close range. I took a bit of damage there, but you can see right here in this little hidden crevice, there's a $4,000 chest that I can hack and make it completely free. That is going to give me a legendary item, a red quality tier. I have yet to get it in this run, and that's going to be really helpful because that might be the run defining item. Also seeing another mountain shrine here. It's a bit of a risk. It's going to make the boss twice as difficult, but I gotta take it. Every time we see a mountain shrine, you gotta take it. We can see also that bosses are now spawning in the normal level, which is a little bit terrifying. This one's gonna do big teleports, lots of bleed damage. A little bit scary here. And I now have a drone on my side as well, and you can see it kind of floating around right here. Drones in Risk of Rain 2 are not amazing. Risk of Rain 1, drones are incredible, and Risk of Rain Returns, in fact, is on the new list of games. We'll see if I end up getting there before I inevitably throw. But let's drop down here, hopefully not take a billion fall damage. So I do have some items that break if I do go to low HP. It's a bit of a saving grace. And spare drone parts. I was just talking about drones. It's actually crazy. It's gonna make my drones a whole lot better. So everything I just said about them being kind of useless in Risk of Rain 2, I lied. The reason why I'm harping so much on getting a run-defining item is because I am very terrified of the final boss. He is perhaps the single most terrifying final boss I ever experienced in a roguelike, because not only does he have many phases, as I'm sure you can anticipate, he takes all of your items. Alright, let's tackle this boss of stage 4 now. I hit that mountain shrine. Hopefully it's not too bad. This is the Imp Overlord, the same thing we saw earlier. And there's 3 of them. Okay, gotta be a little bit careful here. I think I also still have my other beacon. Now, something I can do that I really failed to do the last time around the last video is cancel my shots. I can cancel my shots with the beacon, and that allows me to get some pretty crazy DPS, but clearly I almost just died by doing that again. I gotta show. I won't lie to you. I see why people are talking about throwing for content now. I see it. Ooh, great item. I would have loved that earlier, but I'll talk about that one in the next level because that's when it's going to start to become relevant. Unless I can find a chest. Basically, this is going to double the number of items I get out of the chest. In fact, there's a chance to get up to 5 in one, which is really fantastic. Now, the one thing I really want to find that I haven't yet is something called a scrapper. And there it is. Scrappers are very cool. They allow you to get rid of an item in exchange for a useless currency called scrap. It doesn't do anything for you, except you can exchange that scrap for more items in the future through something like a 3D printer. So this is a really good way to kind of design the run around the items that you want to see. Unfortunately, the last level would have been perfect for it, but beggars cannot be choosers. I've done a lot of begging. Now, I spy a number of chests around me, but I'm actually not going to buy this one because there's a bigger one right here, and now I can use the sales star to give me 3 items. Okay, not only did I get the Symbiotic Scorpion, which is going to make my damage just shoot up, I got the feather. We are in business a little late, but better late than never. The reason why this is so important is because it gives me 1 extra jump. Not only is that good on Captain, because like I mentioned, his movement leaves a lot to be desired. Enemies in Risk of Rain 2 really struggle to hit you when you're circling around them, especially when you're circling around them in the air. And this is going to give me so much assurance items for my run, which I think I'm gonna need this thing that I'm looking at right here that I'm not giving you a full view specifically because it has ended on many of my runs in the past. It's a little bit scary. And look what we have here. 2 more Shrines of Chance to top it off. I'm gonna put down there that half beacon right there and then grab the other one. Hopefully 2 items, 2 good items that I can use in my run here. That's a green right away. It's gonna help me deal a little bit more damage. Alright, well, you see why I hack them now? There goes all the money I just built up. Luckily, in Risk of Rain 2, it's a lot easier to get money later in the run than it is earlier, which is also part of what makes the captain so good, because this money utility ability really lets you bypass some of these earlier levels a whole lot quicker. And there's another one right there, which is kind of crazy. And look what we have right here. Yet another mountain shrine. I mean, I gotta take it. I gotta take it. Is it a big risk? Definitely. Is my damage up to par right now? Definitely not. But I would be remiss if I did not do it. And look at that guy just completely down into the depths. That's an elite enemy gone. I'm gonna take back what I said about this breaching thing, the item that I said was like the worst in the game. It is a lot better than I remember. I think there was an update. They changed it to be a green item rather than a white, which means it's rarer now, but hopefully more powerful. And I'm kind of impressed, honestly. I took a lot of damage there. I got frozen in place. Okay, a little scary. The mountain shrine might be a mistake, but I gotta take it now, otherwise I'm never gonna take it. I'm gonna second guess myself. Never second guess yourself. Go with your gut. Okay, honestly, the symbiotic scorpion that I got, that red item, is pretty great because it's gonna make my damage per pellet here higher. The enemy has armor, and it's gonna reduce the armor every time I shoot him, which is really nice for enemies with a lot of HP because they're gonna get a ton of debuffs. I may have taken a bit too long. Where is this item? Give me something good. I mean, not amazing. Alright, this big bad enemy over here is just about done for. There we go. Now I can safely traverse this area because it has a gigantic half the map spanning attack that I did not want to deal with, and hopefully I won't have to. That's the randomly generated boss that we have on our hands, the double randomly generated boss at that. The reason why I'm not a fan of this red in particular, even though it is legendary, is because it does not help me for the final boss. It's something that only activates if I kill an enemy. And the boss is one enemy, so it's not really going to activate during the fight. At least not when it matters. And guess what? Yay! It's 3 of these gigantic guys. That's awesome. They also send these gravity balls at you that can completely disrupt your movement, and that kind of blows because again, movement is not my specialty here. I found a couple of these equipment pickups that are strong, so I'll just swap in and out between that and the Seed of Life and attack from a distance. Okay, there's the big move. Right line of sight. Look at that. The whole area is just dead. Meanwhile, I have enemies spawning around me. These things are run killers as well. So many run killers in this game too. New enemies added in a recent DLC update. Hooray. Okay, finally. Now I can safely enter this teleporter zone. Notice a couple chests that I missed on the way, and I do want to scrap before I leave. Oh, okay, finally I got one of the bangs. Jaro's Man. This is a great item. I'll talk about it later. If I play my cards right, it can guarantee me a win. For the time being, I'm gonna get rid of some items. I'm gonna get rid of these shuriken. I don't know if you've seen them, but part of the reason is that the final boss, like I mentioned, steals all your items. Not only does he take them from you, but he can use them. So I do not want to see any flying shurikens my way. That's gone. As is that red item. Ooh, and this is kind of crazy. Okay, this is my assurance for the run. It's going to give me 1 extra life. I'm actually going to get rid of it. This might be a big mistake, but if it does work out, it'll let me get to the next game very, very quickly. And finally, I found myself a poly loot that's going to up my damage. Literally the final item. Let's go to this last stage. Now you may be curious about any of those things. Why did I get rid of my guaranteed revival? Why did I get rid of my red item and all of these others? Why do I have all this scrap on the final stage when there's no more chests? Well, to answer one of your questions, this other ability is a teleport. I can teleport, well I guess not technically, I still have to travel the distance, alongside where my crosshair ends up. That was a little bit of a bad one, but it's okay because I'm getting to this part of the map for the other one of your questions is about to be answered. Risk of Rain 2 throws you one final bone, which is a set of items that you can potentially pick up to trade in your scrap, and I'm gonna be honest, most of these are terrible, except for this one. More Kiaros bands, the item that I said could guarantee me a win on this run. That's pretty great.
Starting to get this weapon.
Otherwise, on the roof here, I can
Get
now
it.
trade in 5 of my greens for this brilliant behemoth, which is going to up my damage dramatically. That's pretty lucky. And while I'm at it, might as well just get one more. It's not going to up my damage anymore, but it's going to make all of my attacks explosions a little bit bigger. And with this one item that I have left, this one red, I'm going to get 3 of these bolstering lanterns, which to be honest is not going to help that much. But that is quite alright, because I don't have to worry about this entire level at all. I can use this new teleporting ability, if I can see where I'm looking, to go right up to the boss. And normally you have to wait around for a bunch of these different beacons, and it takes forever. It's my least favorite part of the game, but now I'm bypassing all of it and skipping right to Mithrix. I'm also going to shoot him a little bit early right away. We'll see if that works. God, I am completely useless. Here we go. Final boss, Mithrix, the king of nothing. And does not look like my stun works on him, although the breaching fin to knock him into the air certainly does. And while I got a lot of damaging items that's going to help me out here, my equipment, like I said, my assurance is not there. Let me show you though the Kiaros bands. When I do a high damaging move, like for example these beacons, it's going to summon a fire tornado around him, and that does a lot of damage if he stays in the area. Now you might be thinking this is a very mobile boss, he's not going to stay in the area, how is that going to help you? Well, if I play my cards right, I can do something incredible. We'll see if I pull it off. First phase is almost down, just a couple more shots here. This behemoth pickup is upping my damage like crazy. He's going to leap up, summon a bunch of his minions. This is why I said those on-kill effects mostly don't matter. This is the only phase where it really comes into play. Alright, all the enemies are dealt with. Mithrix is going to return for his 3rd phase. My timing there was excellent as always. And this is going to be a lot harder than the first one. So after having a little bit of fun, Mithrix decides it's a fantastic idea to start using the revolving doors, the pizzas. And this is a move that can kill you from pretty much anywhere on the map. You have to play your cards right so that you hopefully don't get eviscerated by that. But that is the main thing to avoid, as well as his hammer now sends out a bunch of waves. Luckily, I have some abilities that can counter that. But he's down to his final 3rd HP. He's gonna jump up in the sky once more very shortly here and come down with a big attack. And I wanna make sure that I keep him at a healthy HP range for when he does this, because I don't think the next technique is going to work quite yet. I am worried that my drones are actually going to deal too much damage to Mithrix beforehand, so I'm just going to avoid. I'm going to do some little tiny shots here, just make sure he's okay, and now I'm going to run. Revolving doors once again, hopefully I don't get hit, and honestly, it'll be pretty great if he kills my drones. He didn't there, I'm just going to run away. He's at 5,000 HP, he's going to leap up into the air very soon. I gotta use this ultimate technique. Okay, he healed a little bit because the difficulty got higher. There he goes, jump into the sky. 1, 2, 3. The timing should be good there. And there we go. So normally, if you've played Risk of Rain 2, you know that's the phase where he steals your items. But I just cheesed it, so he doesn't get to at all. Now I have to escape the moon, and in that time, I'll explain exactly what I did. Basically, in between his phases, Mithrix has 1 frame of vulnerability where he is not invincible. And in that 1 frame, if you hit him, he no longer activates that steal your item technique. That is extremely hard to do, especially for someone like me under normal gameplay circumstances. But because I have this fire tornado, that's going to be active right at the moment when he changes phases and get that crucial 1 tick of damage before he has a chance to become invincible. There we go. I charged up that final teleporter, the final ship. That's Risk of Rain 2 down 1 hour into the challenge, and I'm 1/10 of the way completed. Okay, let's see what the next game is gonna be. As long as it's not Dead Cells, I think I'll be happy. That one is the scariest by far. Oh, there's no way to Slay the Spire as the 2nd game again. Okay, my timer broke there. This is a little bit of a scary game for me. I think to start, I'm gonna do something not too risky here. Maybe I transform 2 of my cards right away. Because I did Slay the Spire last time, I'm gonna chill for a little bit. I'll briefly go over the game and go over the run, of course, but I'm not gonna spend as much time commentating it because, again, I'll be retracing my steps. The reason why I was pretty worried about this is strategy games are not my strong suit, and Slay the Spire is definitely a strategy game. Okay, I'm fighting my first elite enemy now. This will be a perfect time to talk about it. Last time I was the Defect, which was all about my orb, and talking about my orb blah, 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 blah. This time I'm the silent. So you can see I got rid of one of my cards there, and this is going to cost 2 energy. But if I get rid of a card, I get 2 energy back. So you can kind of see how these synergies start to come into play. That's a lot of damage for my first turn here. So inevitably, I'm going to eat a lot here as well. But that's okay. It's going to deal 10 damage to me. I have the potential to gain 5 plus 5 block, which is 10. I'm not going to do it though. And the reason for that is you can see this has an ability that whenever I play a skill, it's going to gain 2 strength. So you can see I'm using this skill right here and it just got stronger. And I really don't want to deal with that. So I took that little bit of damage earlier so I don't have to take a lot of damage later. And because I decided to challenge that elite enemy, I got this relic where all future elites have less HP, and that's really helpful. Okay, I've entered a room where I have the potential to find some loot. And I got some gold. Now, the odds are higher than a monster returning, but whatever. And I got a relic. Okay, I mean, I might as well now, right? Okay, that's unfortunate. Okay, not too bad. I took some damage for it, but this new boot actually helped me out a little bit. And I think maybe I'm not going to pick up this potion. I have 2 pretty good ones there that I can use. I don't love any of these. Okay, this is pretty good. I was kind of waiting to decide how to design my run until I saw some more cards, and that one... that might change things. Do I risk another elite? Nah, whatever. Basically, that is going to make it so at the start of every turn, if I find that card, I'm able to discard something for free. And same strategy here, I'm going to take some early damage, and so I don't have to worry about it later. This is that card. For my efforts, I got 7 HP, which is honestly fine. 7 max HP. This is also a pretty good card to get, I think. And here we go. First boss of the Slay the Spire challenge. I'm going to use Caltrops, so every time I'm attacked, it's going to deal more damage to the boss, because the boss deals a lot of damage in small little hits. Well-laid plans allows me to retain up to 1 card in my hand, and then just deal some extra damage while I'm at it. Now, I really want to use this. I don't have any energy, but luckily, I'm able to retain it thanks to that previous card. Oh, 25 down to 35 HP. Not very good. What's really nice though is you can see the enemy is tossing me these burns, which is a random card that's taking up space and it's going to deal damage to me. But because the silent is all about discarding, at least this build that I'm currently going with, I'm kind of fine. And this sneaky strike that I talked about, I don't even have to use the card now. Because at the start of my turn, thanks to Tools to Trade, I get it for free. This is going to be a very, very efficient turn right here, and I believe that's the boss down. Okay, now I get to choose a relic, and between these 3, I don't really want these debuffs that these are giving me, so I'm going to pick up the Astrolabe. I get to transform 3 of these cards, hopefully into something better, and I think these are honestly pretty good. We have now reached Act 2 of 3. You can see the enemies are starting to deal a lot more damage here. It's getting really dicey. I'm pretty close to losing, actually. This has been a really rough elite enemy. Is it even an elite enemy? Okay, it is an elite. It is an elite. Okay. Alright, that was scary. I'm a little bit worried about the rest of this run. I have a lot of things set up for myself. Just not the cards to work yet. Down to 16 HP. They're gonna do way more than 16 damage right here. I just gotta hope I have enough in the tank. Okay. This was a really good turn. This was a really, really good turn. Got more. Get rid of more. 17. Oh my god, this is so stressful. Gotta get through potentially 2 more enemies before the next heal. Oh man, this thing directly counters me. 14 HP in a room. I made it out okay. If this is not an enemy, I'll be so happy. Oh my god. Let's see how it goes. 9 HP left. It's getting a little down, little by little. This one's dead. Okay. Okay, give me some more shivs here. I think I really just gotta make my shivs more powerful. This is my win condition at the moment. I made it out. I made it out. Please let me escape. Oh, powerful. Like, with many rewards? No. No. Heal. Please heal. 31 HP left. Okay. I made it to the next boss. I don't know if I'm making it past the next boss, however. Let me do some early healing. This boss is gonna summon a bunch of minions to hopefully take me out. I think what I'm gonna do is get some block, discard this so this becomes free once again. Same strat. Okay, this has been very stressful, but I kept cycling through my cards, kept getting what I wanted. I got pretty lucky here. That is the second boss down. I need a power spike though. I'm very worried. Oh, it's a terrible final boss for me too. Okay, damage has got to go way up. Dodge and roll, gaining more block. This can be good. I have 828 gold. I think this is definitely the last shop unless I get lucky. So this has got to be big. And honestly, it's not bad. Ice cream, energy conserved. I'm getting a lot of energy. That's pretty good. Prepared, draw a card, discard a card. And it's okay. Toolbox is some randomness that might help. Mummified hand. Okay, another elite enemy to fight now. Potentially the final elite of this run. So let's get cooking. You can see it's about to deal 30 damage, but every turn after this, it's just going to increase more and more. So I got to be careful here, but every time I play a card, it's going to take more damage. So I want to play all my defense first. That's what I'm thinking. That way when I strike, it's going to be the maximum impact here. Oh yeah, look at that. 25 on that hit. Wait to use this. 25 right there as well. And overall, just an excellent turn. Okay, I'm starting to cook. The problem is, it takes a lot of cards every turn for me to actually deal a bunch of damage. And the final boss that I have to fight here is one that punishes you if you use a lot of cards. It's a little bit scary. But alright, I just did my final heal. It's time for the final boss here. The Timekeeper. The way this works is every time I play 12 cards, my turn is over and this is going to grow stronger. So you can see how that's an issue when I have to play a lot of cards to get my play going. You can see just this first turn is already 9 and my damage also doesn't scale up super high. So I'm gonna have to deal a ton before it just keeps getting stronger. And because I don't have that many cards to use this turn, I gotta be very careful with what I do. Maybe I eat the 21 damage. I gotta deal some, but first I want to get more damage on my side. I definitely need to block. I only have one more move here. I think it's probably worth it to go for the damage. That way I also get energy for next turn. And look at this. Ooh, this is bad. It's because I deal all these little itty bitty hits. The tiny little shivs is how I'm getting most of my value, as well as all of these discards. But it's really scary when you have something like this facing you that's dealing more damage in more multiplicative ways every single time you press attack. All right, let me get some more block. Oh, 11 times 3 already. I might be dead next turn. 1, 2, 3, 4. I only have 3 cards next turn. I think I just have to end this turn here and then hope. I don't know what to do. Maybe I just go for the gambit where I try to win the next turn. That way I save myself. Okay, 11, 12. Okay, it's gonna deal 13 times 3 damage. Oh my god, okay. This is bad. I'm 100% dead if I cannot kill this in the next 2 turns. Shiv, 21. Another 21. Another 21. 2 HP! Oh my god, Slay the Spire. This game is terrifying. 2 hours into the run, 2 out of 10 games done. Good lord. If there is anybody on my side, either I get Egg's Choice or I get Brotato right now. I think that is the only way that I make it through without dying from cortisol overload. Please, 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 please. Okay, 20XX, also known as the Mega Man roguelike. I also played this last time, so I'm really gonna speed through it here. If you want more in-depth information on the game and the bosses and everything, you can check that one out. Right now, I'm actually fighting the last boss from the previous run right out of the gate, which is interesting, and that is also a really good item to get right away. I'll go over this super quickly for those of you that are unfamiliar with the game. Basically, you gotta get through the stages, and then you gotta fight the boss of that stage while collecting some items, of course, as it's a roguelike in between. Both the levels and the bosses get progressively more difficult as the run goes on, so my strategy here is to clear the difficult levels first. That way I really don't have to worry about them, because the platforming actually can get quite challenging. Looks like I got a little bit of a fly though, which is going to help me out with the platforming, and I suppose I'll just see you in the next boss. Alright, we got the Vile Visage, the Vile Visage. I won't lie to you, I'm quite disappointed in seeing 20XX this early, because this game is really mentally taxing, and I definitely needed a break, because 3 mentally taxing games in a row is not good for me. The difficulty in this challenge, I think really, I mean, first of all, comes down to the fact that roguelikes are not easy games to begin with, but also the mental fatigue of trying to beat these back to back with completely different skill sets. I am far from an expert in any of these games. I'd say maybe one on the list is something I feel very confident in delivering information on, and it is one that I have yet to play in this entire challenge. So that's great. One hit away is separating me and victory here. That flight that I got is actually such a godsend. I didn't realize it at the time, but it might be the best item in the game because I can just bypass so much of the difficult platforming, at least difficult for me, and also save myself from a lot of would-be damage, which is really, really nice because you gotta hold on to that life. I say as I instantly get hit, it can really, okay, it can really escape you quite fast is what I was gonna say. Oh my god, I just keep getting hit by this guy going in a straight line. That was embarrassing. All right, next boss time. I don't want to jinx it, but things are actually going really, really well so far. I'm taking some damage that I probably shouldn't have, but I mean, if I just stand right here, that is just prime real estate. And there we go. Okay, this shotgun blast that I have right now, very effective. Level 6. Here we go. This is when things start to really get challenging. What is this? Wait, I actually don't know what this is. I'm scared that this is gonna like be a partial buff, partial debuff. So I'm just gonna run away. Like, you know, like in Risk of Rain 2, there's blue items. I'm scared that that's what that is. I almost just got hit by Iron Man. Now this boss is gonna be quite annoying because it just keeps jumping around and my shotgun blast has very limited range. So I gotta shoot, then just get out of the way here. It's gonna do a big burst of spikes and then just try to hope that I know where it's gonna spawn next. And it was right on top of me. I mean, that's not even my fault. Okay, I've got 2 big bursts charged up here. I should probably get rid of these obstacles, but I just want to get rid of it first. Somehow I fell into lava there, even though I can fly. That's really smart. And another boss down. Okay, finally I cleared the normal portion of that level. That one was the longest yet. It was quite brutal. I got hit a number of times. Luckily, I got some fortunate drops on the heels, so I only have 1 tick of damage on me, but I did have some armor that I ended up losing, which is unfortunate. Now this guy's gonna summon a whole bunch of bats, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my big charge power to get rid of as many at a time as I can. I say as I just jump into all of them, but they're honestly pretty hard to see against everything going on. Oh my god. There we go. I took so much damage from that boss. That's not good. Well, second to last boss down at the very least. Get some more HP while I'm at it. I was quick enough to get a reward here. All right. Final boss. Final level, I should say. Another gauntlet of a level, but I'm now facing this boss, which I don't think I've ever fought its final level form before. So I'm just gonna stand as close as possible while I can vertically and pepper it with these shotgun blasts. Not feeling as much damage as I would hope though. Ooh, oh, that went a lot further than I thought. It probably does some kind of indicator of where it's gonna finally end up, but I don't know. Alright, there we go. Bullet Hell, not my strength. You can tell Gungeon is not on this list because I've yet to really play it. Same can be said about Binding of Isaac, same can be said about Inscription. And if I fooled you this time because you didn't watch the last video, that's fully okay. That was not the last level. Because of course, they've got to do something where they combine every single stage in one. Okay, that was a marathon of a level, and I got hit far more times than I would like to admit. Luckily, there's some heal here. Got a lot of those for free. Alright, let's see what the shop has for me. Some good upgrades, honestly. More power, more speed, more health drops. And you know what? I'm gonna lose some HP here so that I can get free nuts. And then I'm gonna use this to get the HP back. Oh wait, I just lost my armor. Oh, that was so dumb. It's okay, more HP anyway. We're good. Okay, on to the Scientist. This is a boss that combines the abilities of all the previous bosses in little miniature forms. And before, the last time I did this, I had a weapon that made the different phases very easy because I had a blaster that shot in all 4 directions. Unfortunately, I don't this time around. I have the shotgun. So my positioning has to be a lot more precise. HP bar is halfway down. I've eaten like maybe 4 or 5 hits already, which is not great. There's some more, but these supercharged shots do a ton of damage if I can get all the hits. I was just talking about not liking bullet hell. I suppose this isn't really true bullet hell though. But if I'm struggling here, then you can imagine in a real one, it'll be a lot harder. There we go. 3 treasure chests. 1 more level. Okay, I somehow made it through leaving with full HP. I didn't lose a ton of armor, but now I can just buy everything I want in this shop. All this excess money is great. Maybe it'll drop me additional health too as a free item. It doesn't, that's okay. And on to the longest final boss in gaming history. This is the other of the two scientists that experimented, I suppose, on your main characters. There's two available to pick from. And in order to get to the final boss, you unfortunately have to defeat a bunch of yourself, make it through these legs, get to the other side, make it through these obstacles, which the fly is going to make trivial. I took some damage there, that's totally fine. And then do that like 10 more times. Okay. That was actually a lot shorter than I thought. Maybe I'm just dealing a ton of damage. My primary. Because I feel like it took a lot longer last time. Maybe I just imagining things. And now we have the escape phase, where this little robot guy is going to help me by shooting the giant laser beams. Hopefully I don't know. Here we go. This should be it. There we go. Finally, that run is over. Quite a bit faster than last time as well. 20xx down, and honestly, it's a few of the harder games already out of the way. Okay, the ones I'm most worried about right now: Risk of Rain Returns, Balatro, Dead Cells. Those are the three. I suppose that Super Auto Pets also has a bit of randomness associated. Okay, Vampire Survivors is fine. I can work with this. This is another game that I played last time, so I'm really gonna speed through it this time around. I know I said that before, but I got ahead of myself. Now, Vampire Survivors is a bit of a dopamine generator. If you're unfamiliar, basically, you don't control when you attack. You only control the movement of your character, and your goal is to KO, knock out as many of these enemies as you possibly can, pick up the gem, get more powerful, and outscale the horde that is, of course, running after you. I'm going to talk about my build in a second here, because I think this one's a lot more interesting, maybe, than the first time around, but I do want to say, last time I mentioned, there's things known now as Vampire Survivors clones, because this game invented the genre. That is actually not true, as I've learned from comments. Vampire Survivors is more like the Thomas Edison of Vampire Survivor type games. Didn't invent it, certainly popularized it, and a lot of people give it a ton of credit that it may not fully deserve. Granted though, this is still an incredible game. My goal, I believe, is to make it to 30 minutes on the counter, so that's really what I'm shooting for. Now, the build that I'm using today is really centered around my primary weapon, the Rune Tracer. It's these things darting around the screen, and these are going to bounce off every single wall, which is great because the map that I'm currently on has a ton of walls. It's a long, long corridor. So that means if there's a bunch of enemies grouped together, they're going to get knocked maybe 1, 2, 3 times in that same area, and my damage is really going to shoot through. On top of that, I picked up this Arcana type card. You can get 3 in a run. That's going to give me 3 extra of these Rune Tracers. So not only do I send them out, not only do they bounce all across the screen, not only am I able to upgrade them throughout the run, but there's going to be 3 more. On top of that, if I pick up a chest at the right time, I'm going to be able to combine it into an even more powerful weapon. I didn't get it there. I actually upgraded my King's Bible instead by accident, but it should be within the next couple. If I get this big monster right here, I should be able to get 1 more chest. There we go. Maybe this will give me the upgrade. There it is. And we're set. No future. The evolved Rune Tracer. Every time it bounces, it's now going to explode for a bunch of damage. Oh, look at that. My AoE just got insane. Vampire Survivors could not have come at a better time. With this build, I think I might be set for the rest of the run. Okay, I am big chilling now. I got this fire wand that I can now use to make myself even more powerful. I just probably can upgrade if I open this chest right here. Never mind, it's the Santa Water that just upgraded. Well, that's also its final form now. Let's see about this. There it is. 2 more upgrades in their final form. I still got 8 minutes left. I'm doing well. I'm gonna look for 1 more weapon. Let's see if I can get it. Oh, there it is, the Night Sword. Okay, retaliates with bonus damage affected by greed. I'm just gonna hopefully get this up to level 8 as fast as possible. I guess I'll pick up an extra health, extra life, whatever. Because the way that this weapon upgrades, if I'm not mistaken, is with this item floating on the map right here, the Stone Mask. So I pick this up, I get 1 extra inventory slot, and now I just want to level up this Night Sword as fast as possible so I can get the upgrade, which I've actually never gotten before. Okay, there's 2 upgrades right away from that chest. Maybe I'll take 1 more chest, see if I get lucky. There we go, that's another upgrade. What level is it at now? 7? Okay. I think I'm just gonna level this up immediately after getting it. That's kind of sick. Unless I need the Stone Mask to also be fully leveled. I might have made a of a mistake, but you know what? I think we're okay. I didn't know any better. There we go. 30 minutes down. I'm going to be immediately eliminated here. That's going to be game over. Stage completed. Another run done. If somebody could inform me what went wrong there, let me know. 4.4 million damage on my bounce knife. The next game gonna be Risk of Rain returns, Super Auto Pets, Dead Cells. It's what I'm worried about most. Give me Hades, I'll be happy. Brotato? Oh, 2 Vampire Survivors games in a row? Okay. Brotato. This game on the surface is going to look very similar to the last one, but it plays out quite differently. Also, it's so loud. I don't think I've ever played music in this game before. Basically, this is very similar in that you don't control when you attack. Now, there's a little bit of a caveat to that, but the game is really centered around you avoiding these enemies, these different attack patterns. I don't know why the volume is so inconsistent, but you know what? It is what it is. It's what we gotta deal with today. And as you progress throughout the waves, your goal is to survive until wave 20, with of course the enemies getting harder and harder. You get upgrades in between. I think the main difference between this and Vampire Survivors, number one, is I actually prefer Brotato. This is one of my favorite games ever. And additionally, between each round, you get access to this shop where you can purchase additional guns, maybe melee weapons that make you a little bit stronger. You can reroll the shop, you can save something in the shop. And I'm gonna save this SMG here because I'm playing the character Creature. And Creature is a character that's all about the build. You are saving short-term power, sacrificing, I should say, short-term power in order to gain a lot more long-term. And when that comes into play, I will let you know. For the time being, I'm gonna try to knock out these enemies, pick up the money, and get more power. I believe wave 9 is when I'm gonna get a ton of money if I'm able to survive that round, because a lot of these weak enemies are gonna come at me in a big clump and they're gonna drop a whole lot of money. So that's when I'm really expecting to get my power spike. So for now, I'm just building up until wave 9, and then I can kind of choose where I want to go from there. In between rounds, you can also level up and then get a certain number of permanent upgrades. Right here, I kind of want to get range. You can see I'm negative 28 range, and the reason for that is the trade-off for Creature. You can see that at the end of every wave, not only am I losing the rate of XP, I'm also losing range. And range is really important because I'm playing a ranged weapon. But what I just bought here is a cursed SMG, and this is really what we're talking about here. Cursed weapons are much stronger variants of their normal counterparts. You can see it's glowing purple in the game right here. And this is how you go from strong to exponentially strong, because there is a cap on how good your individual weapons can be, and Curse just raises that up dramatically. What makes the Creature special is it starts with an item that allows you to save one item in the shop, and there's a percent chance, minus 28 in this game, that that item becomes cursed and gets much stronger. The downside is the more curse you have, the greater the chances that the enemies also become cursed. And those enemies, of course, are going to deal a ton more damage as expected. Right now, I've got the maximum of 6 weapons in my hands. You can see I have all 6 around me. My goal is eventually to pivot off of these standard normal SMGs and get to some of the items that are a lot more powerful, but I really don't have to worry about that right now. You can see I'm kind of killing these enemies. So now you can kind of see the gameplay move a little bit better. I end the round, I get a little bit debuffed, but hopefully I get a little bit stronger in between rounds when I save these items here. So it's basically a race against the clock. Can I get enough XP fast enough? You can see I'm already at minus 10 top of the screen there. And start snowballing these buffs before the game starts snowballing me. And alright, this barnacle you can see is now cursed. So now when I level up, I'm getting 64% more stats, as well as this SMG, which is even more powerful now. It's at an upgraded tier of quality, so now I have 2 very strong weapons on my side. Things are going pretty well. Wave 8 is just about complete, which means the power spike is coming soon. Let's see what Wave 9 has to offer me. I'm just one-shotting these enemies. Oh, this is just brutal. Oh, you'll love to see it. Now, if I can successfully complete this challenge, I'm going to try again on hardcore mode, where all the games are the hardest difficulty I've ever beaten them at, which can get pretty insane with Brotato, I will tell you. But right now, I'm feeling good. And I'll peel back the curtain a little bit. Part of the reason why I feel so confident in Brotato specifically is because this is the only game I think I've ever played where I actually won my first ever run. Now there are some roadblocks that can make things kind of difficult coming up pretty soon, But if I lose this run, it means I am worse than I was when I had literally 0 experience on the game. Maybe I shouldn't have brought that up, because I'm just putting it out into the world, but I feel okay. You can really tell the difference in my experience and also just aptitude to different types of games. Because for me, something like Dead Cells, something like Slay the Spire, Battlefront, that's always hard mode. But this is a breeze. I did want to bring something up, and I know it's probably bad to bring it up this late into the video, but it is what it is. I don't think I really have optimization right here. The amount of support I got on that last roguelike challenge was mind-blowing. Of everyone who watched that video, not only did that video get so much more of a response and so much more of a positive response than I expected, I mean, I was just shooting in the dark, but out of everyone who watched, only 0.6% were regular viewers of my channel, which means somehow it reached all of you. I don't know. It's some magic there. So I'm just very thankful. It's very scary to go outside of your own bubble where the people that you interact with are familiar and maybe you weeded out the very mean ones, or maybe you love the mean ones. Maybe those are your favorite fans. I don't know. But everyone who found it, everyone who enjoyed it, and left a nice comment, even subscribed, I appreciate it. It's very, very helpful. And I hope I can keep doing these mentally taxing challenges. I have a lot of ideas for them, so we'll see how it goes. I gotta get through this one first. Alright, we're on the second to last wave now, and I realized something kind of funny. Because I'm playing on normal difficulty, I didn't realize that elite enemies, like big mini bosses, and big horde waves where they just send enemy after enemy after enemy against you, they exist here. And I also think that fewer enemies are spawning to begin with, so I actually have less money to work with. I was quite excited to show just how crazy Rotato can get, but maybe that's for another day. It seems like I'm just, I don't know, it's just too powerful right now. I have 3 invincible hits. I deal a ton of extra damage to the boss, and things are gonna spawn left and right. Let's just fight this final boss and see how it goes. Right, oh my god, it's getting deleted! Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if I even lost a single point of HP. I mean, I might have. It was so insignificant of a memory in my mind that I just forgot. And I'm now realizing that I definitely, I forgot to turn off endless mode. So here's what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna sell all of my items. Yeah, the Rotato can get a lot crazier than this, but it seems like the run is just too okay. But this should show a complete screen. There we go, run, and we're good. Oh my god, I didn't record this for real turning. Oh, it's so embarrassing. Well, it was about to land on Risk of Rain Returns, you can see right here, and then I got the Hades in the final moments. That's a little embarrassing. It's from the previous video. How's that cutscene my challenge? Please, let me play! Okay, Hades. I'm kind of sad that my initial reaction was not recorded, because I was so scared about getting Risk of Rain Returns that I stumbled over my words, I couldn't pronounce it, and then finally Hades. If you're not familiar with this game, I did a brief rundown in the previous video, so I'll do it even briefer here. This is an action roguelike where you are Zagreus Zagreus? I actually don't know how to pronounce that. And you're trying to survive with help from the Olympic gods. And right away, my build is locked in. The luck has already been very, very nice to me. First mini-boss of the run, I'm centered on the 3 A's today, so that's Aphrodite, Athena, and Artemis. And seeing as I got Aphrodite first, and by complete chance Artemis popped up, I'm feeling pretty good. Oh, and would you look at that, it's a room with both Artemis and Aphrodite, and a Chaos Gate that I can take after. I'll show you what that means after this room is done. Pretty good. My goal is to unlock the team-up, the duo beam between these two. Doesn't look like it's popping up yet, though. Maybe I'll give it one reroll. We'll see if it does. Not yet. Now I've got to fend off Artemis's attacks. She's pissed because I didn't pick her, but I think I'll be okay. Because right now I'm dealing a ton of damage. I'm doing the opposite type of build as last time to keep things fresh around here. Well, before I was all about making my projectiles as powerful as possible. This time, it's all about the close range attacks. And I'm kind of dumb for rerolling because apparently I didn't actually select the right stuff to upgrade. So when I told you my knowledge on these games wasn't the greatest, that's why. I don't understand. I'm gonna take this Chaos Gate now. No, actually, I didn't get very lucky on those drops either. I'm now realizing. Well, that's alright. Can't be too upset about it. A random deleter drop here. I don't think it's gonna help me all too much, so I guess I'll just do this. And we're on to the first boss. So now I'll have the time to really talk about my run. I think it's the second cutscene I'm seeing of you, and specifically the build that I'm going for here. So this is basically the aspect of Nemesis. It's an alteration to your default blade, and that, oh, just ran into that. Grants you bonus critical hit chance every time you slam the ground like that. So that's why in between all of these attacks, I'm slamming the ground. It's to get those big crits. And then there's a ton of synergies that you can do to make your crits deal even more damage, have a greater percent chance. My goal is to just eviscerate everything before it even has a chance to fight back. And there we go. It's the final A. I'm looking for Athena. Now I need this on the special, I believe. That's not the special. Unfortunate turn of events, but it won't be the last chance that I have with any of these gods. So hopefully they are merciful to me towards the end of this run. I will say I did make a pretty big mistake early on, and I really hope that does not come to bite me later in the run as the run gets more and more difficult. But we have Hermes right here. This is also a potential power spike. This is pretty good for me. So most of my damage is actually coming from my dash attack, and that lets me do it one more time. So I have one more hit of my crit damage, and of course that means one more chance to get the critical hit. Feel okay. All right, this is going to be a bit of a mini boss as well. There's these two enemies that are working together. I wait for that one to slam down. Hopefully I don't get frozen in place by this guy. That one's down already. Send out my cast so I can deal more damage. Lots of synergies going on, but honestly not the ones I'm looking for, because those duo boons that I mentioned are at the heart of this run, really. And wait, I'm realizing I already got Artemis on special. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like I had such a good plan, and it's all falling apart. And I wish I could tell you it's because I played like a ton of games in a row, but I think this is just me and my default state. That makes me really worried for the upcoming strategy games, like Balatro, like Super Auto Pets. Oh man, if I'm making mistakes like that in those games, it's a whole lot worse. Because at least this, if I don't deal a lot of damage, I can hopefully get out of it with my movement. I am concerned, I am quite concerned, I will not lie to you, but we're up to Lernie the Bone Hydra, the second boss in the run, and this, I think, is going to be very easy. Okay, I say that, but I also ran into lava, so who knows? But you can see, oh, I'm dealing so much damage, it's going to the next phase before it even has a chance. I won't lie to you, a number of these runs are not going my way, but if I get the crits, it's totally fine. Okay, I mean, I think I'm okay in Hades, it's just not the run that I wanted. I suppose it's on me for committing too hard at the start of a roguelike run and wanting something to go my way that way. I was being selfish, I was being greedy, and if I see the words double edge in front of me, all is forgiven. Okay. You know how I was saying most of my damage comes from my dash attack? Well, now every time I dash attack, it hits twice. So my damage has almost doubled in one single room. And that's very nice. I don't even care if I don't get the right boons. I mean, I'm not going to right now anyway. All is well. All is good with the world. And ideally, I'm also backstabbing these enemies for even additional damage multiplier, which is really, really good English and grammar. I'm gonna send these three out. The Minotaur is charging me, but look at the damage. I mean, look, it's not as incredible as it could be, but I am not a complainer, which is a complete lie. But I am not a complainer at this very second. That's all. It's a little bit scary because I'm using my escape option for my damage, but you know, if you do damage faster than the opponent doing damage to you, then you're okay, and that is it. The Minotaur is going to retreat, and I get one more chance of an Artemis Athena duo. Let's see it. Okay, there we go, there we go, there we go. Turns out that all you need to do is keep complaining. Oh my god, my damage is crazy now. The power spike that I just hit in this third level, I feel pretty good about it. Let me explain what's going on after I clear this room. So basically, what I just got is called Heartfang. It's the duo, like I mentioned, of Artemis and Aphrodite. And what this does, if I scroll right here, bonus critical damage versus weak enemies, 150%. And on top of that, weak is an effect that I add just by attacking normally. So not only do I get 30% extra crit chance every time I use my special, after I deal critical damage, there's an additional 60% chance, and all of that damage was just boosted. On top of the fact, it gets... okay, this is a legendary thing. I've gotten this like once in my life. What is going on? On top of the fact, I was gonna say that I now attack twice every time I was supposed to attack once. And this legendary boon, I think, has a chance to just make the enemies fight for me. Which is kind of, yep, there it is. You see that giant heart? I don't know if you saw it, it went by kind of fast. Damage. Okay, I can't complain at all. So all of my basic attacks now have a chance to make the enemy my friend. And they no longer deal damage to me, I believe, and they also are going to deal a bunch to the enemy. Now, maybe I should try harder, but it's when they have those big hearts. Now, I'm in a competition with Noctos right now to see who can get more enemies, and I might just blow my water. Okay, That's a little embarrassing. I'm gonna get a little bit of extra power just from doing that, and I'm gonna get him more HP. Perfect. I got lucky, and the game was able to do more for being. That's pretty good. Alright, on to the third and penultimate boss here, Theseus and the Minotaur. Now, I'm gonna do something I've like never really done before. I'm gonna try to kill Theseus for. Oh, Theseus is my friend now! Oh, that's sick! Look at that, the Minotaur's my friend now! What is going on? He's just attacking the Minotaur! Wait, this is sick! I'm gonna try to kill them both at the same time. Let's see if I can do it. Oh, a little risky! But I think... No, it's a little bit off. That's okay though. That's okay. Damn. What an easy boss that was. What's funny is at the start of this run, I also got the lowest tier of quality on my main attacking moves. Imagine if I got any higher. This would be even crazier. Alright, the final after Radiant Boom is going to be another damage boost. Perfect. Okay, let's tackle the final boss now, Hades himself. I'm very curious. Can I convince him to be my ally? Like, does that ability work on Hades? Because that would be... Oh my god, it does. I wasn't even doing max damage there. I forgot I'm supposed to use my projectiles first. 1, 2, 3. Get those out. That way my damage output is greater. I'm good, actually. Oh my god. Hades is so cooked. I took a little bit of damage, but you know what? It's okay. I was being a little bit too aggressive, I think, because I was using all of my escape options to attack. But can you blame me? Look at what's happening. This is not even the most ridiculous one that you can get. Not even close, in fact. Let me toss these out right away, get my extra crit chance, backstab damage bonus. I take some damage, it's okay. It's too much going on right now. Now I'm becoming invisible, which is his own ability, and he's not even doing this to me. I don't know how that works. This is the first time I'm doing it. One more good aggressive play should do it. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. I played a little bit quick there. I rushed a little bit at the end, but that's Hades down. And honestly, one of the luckier runs I've had in this game. I will say there's some that get pretty crazy, but not bad at all. It's a new clear record. Let me take a look at this. Let me not alter for and actually go through here. So now I'm gonna wait and move on to the next game. Okay, we're reaching the point where every game now is pretty scary. I think of these, maybe Super Auto Pets is the best. Okay? Okay? We're good. Maybe. Now this might be the most contentious game on the list. It's definitely the most unique. In that calling it a roguelike might not be fully true. This is an auto battler. It's random every time you play as these little animals, and this game, I think more than anything else, is the type of game where if you get a bad start, you might just be cooked. So I'm gonna set up these tier 1 pets. You get 10 gold every round. You can reroll for 1 gold, and then you fight against real people. Let's name this team the Alert Babies, because that is so much throughout this recording. So we're 4 hours in, and a pretty good setup for round number 1. Now that might have gone by very quickly. I will explain exactly what I'm going for, but the goal is to get to 10 wins, and hopefully, as you're seeing right here, you can get a lot of the same pets. Now these first few rounds aren't nearly as important, I'd say, as the later ones in terms of what these animals exactly do, because I'm going to end up probably getting rid of everything here. So the thing that we really need to be concerned with right now are the HP, the attack, and I guess that's about it right now. There's some abilities that go on as well. Let me slow this down so it's not like fast forward or anything like that. You can see this is 3 attack, 1 HP versus 2 attack, 2 HP. It's going to knock each other out. Like so. Now that ant had a little bit of an ability where it can buff the thing behind it, and I think probably I'm going to end up losing this one. You can see they just have so much HP, and unfortunately they had been alive. I'm going to lose 1 of my 5 lives, but luckily Super Auto Pets is coded, designed, such that if you lose a heart before turn 3, you get it back. Because sometimes you just get a start that is like impossible to survive with. So now is when the game starts to get really interesting. You can see this duck. I can level this up if I combine it. That's going to give it a more powerful ability. As well as spawn in the shop. I don't like any of these. I'm a little bit worried, to be honest with you. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the rabbit. Because when I get the rabbit, I get more HP every time I use an item. I'm going to sell this pivot so I get a free item. I'm gonna give this to my duck, which is the most powerful unit, and I think a lot of the strategy here is just to make a mega unit and then go from there. So I'm gonna keep pumping up this duck as much as I can, and hopefully I will bring it to the finish line here. Unfortunately, you can see they have pigs, which are very powerful but very weak. It was enough to take me out, but that's another win. Now is where I think I'm going to make a little bit of a pivot. So I don't have a lot of strength right now. I'm going to sell one beaver. That's going to buff up a couple of my random units. I'll buy the swan, which gets me more currency. And as you can imagine, currency is really important. And I'm just going to save this fish for the next level. The swan's even more powerful now. That's great. And maybe I buff up this duck one more time for a chance at survival. Just to be safe. And let's see. You know what? Considering this a win like is fair, but if you don't, that's totally okay. I think I'm either going to tie this. Yes, I'm going to tie this round. Maybe I should put the swan in front of the rabbit. That's okay. A draw is fine because I'm looking for the long-term power. I'm going to sell my beaver again, even though it's one of my more powerful units. Combine these fish. It's going to build up a couple more units, and then I have a chance at an even higher tier 10. So you can see right now this is tier 1 based on the dice, tier 2, and now I'm up to tier 4. And the reason for that is if you upgrade a pet, you are given a random selection of 2 in the next tier. So that's why I waited 1 turn. I wanted that to get unlocked. Now I'm thinking, okay, this duck is kind of saving me. When this turtle dies, it's going to give a shield to the duck. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sell this, which is going to make room for the giraffe. And the giraffe is going to buff up this duck to be even more powerful. So I'm going to get this. Did not get it to the units I want. That's okay. Now my duck, hopefully, is going to scale into the late game. They have a really good team, though. And this does not look good. Look what happens here. This elephant is going to damage its own unit. But every time it gets damaged, it's getting a buff. I'm so cooked. Unless... Okay, the salad on the fish made a difference. What are the sentences that I am saying right now? Okay, let's change things up a little bit. I want to make this turtle more powerful. It's going to do 3 more damage now. That's good. I could buff up my giraffe, but I don't think I want to. Giraffe is not a long-term play here. And I'm really scared they're just going to have something that weakens my top unit. That is always a fear. Oh man, maybe I should have gone for that double giraffe play. Seems like that's the best thing I got. Maybe I'll give a meat bone to this swan. The swan might not be long for this world either. Okay, I'm not really feeling great about this start. It's good so far, but it's not great. It's not great, and I see how I get outscaled here. This is probably going to be a loss. Yes, it is. Yeah, I mean, I'm getting outscaled by low-level teams right now. Teams that don't have a ton of wins, and neither do I. So I'm worried. Let's see what pets are unlocked right now. There's some things that could change the game for sure. The deer is really powerful. It can summon a bus, which is very funny, and the skunk is very powerful. So those are the 2 I think I'm going to be looking for the most. Don't know if dolphin will get me there, but might as well buy one. We'll see what happens here. I need scaling bad. This is the problem. I can't keep re-rolling. I guess I just keep making my duck more powerful. That's the best shot I've got right now. All right, we're going all in on this duck. If the duck doesn't get me there, then I don't know what will. And we can see right there, my duck is down to 4 HP before the game even starts. That was what I was worried about. It's the skunk's ability. Whatever the highest HP target is, siphons away. Luckily, the rest of my team is powerful enough to bring me there, but 4 lives, 4 wins does not feel good. I'm just gonna keep buffing up this duck, and I'm thinking, crazy play. I'm gonna save this sleeping pill, because the sleeping pill automatically knocks out one of your own pets. You might be thinking, why would I ever do that? Well, when the turtle gives a shield to whatever is behind it, and you have the ability to knock it out yourself, you can guarantee a shield and give yourself a free spot. So if I see a pet that I want, I might consider doing that. Now 2 fish here, you can see I can potentially level up my fish even more, but I just don't feel like its ability is very good. And these pets that I'm seeing right now, I don't love them. I guess I'll save a deer in case. And you know what? This penguin can help me scale. So goodbye, turtle. You did me well. Hello, penguin. Maybe I get rid of this deer too. Now, there's a lot of different types of builds. We've really only seen one type so far, which is just get as powerful as possible. Unfortunately, I lost my shield there, and I'm probably going to lose as a result. It's a tie. Okay, thank God it's a tie. We haven't really seen a summon team. Deer is part of the summon team. Like I said, you can summon a whole bus. So that's kind of what I'm worried about. And something that can help me with those is the rhino. So here's my idea. I'm going to get rid of the fish, because Rhino covers the same sort of idea, and I'm just gonna try to make the Rhino a little bit more powerful, all of my units a little bit more powerful. We'll level up a Swan. Okay, I can see how this can work. The Dragon is gonna be my scaling for the rest of the game. The Dragon works by when you buy it and you buy really weak pets, your whole team gets stronger. So I'm gonna buy that, and I'm also gonna save a Scorpion, which I will talk about very shortly. I'm freezing this entire shop, but I'm playing things very safe here. I'm worried. All right, they have a Rhino as well, but look at the power of my shield. I'm taking 0 damage from their strongest unit. Now, there is counterplay, but nobody's really done it yet. So I'm looking forward to potentially doing something crazy. Okay, here's the play. Get rid of the Penguin, which is buffing up my 2 best units right now. Get rid of the Dolphin. Now, bring in the Dragon, and let's just see what happens here. I summon the fish. Whole team gets buffed. I sell the fish. I summon the Mosquito. Whole team gets buffed. Sell the Mosquito. Pigeon. Whole team gets buffed once again. And now I'm summoning the Scorpion. This is a crazy, crazy unit. I'm also going to save the chocolate, which I'll talk about in the next round. And no tier 1 pets for this dragon. That's okay. The Scorpion is like Shedinja kind of. It's 1/1, so it always spawns with 1 HP unless you choose to buff it up. But if an enemy has no shield, no matter how strong it is, gets killed in 1 hit. Pretty sick. Pretty sick unit there. So that's really good to have up front, and it might have just won me that round. Now, unfortunately, I think I might have to get rid of it here because I want to buff up my dragon. Now, the chocolate is going to be a free level. So you can see this dragon right here, almost level 2, and that's my scaling. That's my long-term scaling. The Swan is really important because it gives me money, and the Dragon takes money to, you know, buff everything up. And the Rhino is there for assurance purposes. Here I'm gonna buy the cow because the cow summons free food, which is pretty awesome. And then I can sell it once again and get. Ooh, let me think about this. It might be better to get 1 more Scorpion, and then the next round, the next round I keep leveling. That's my idea. This is my idea. I mean, same team comp as last time, I'm just more powerful. And their best unit is in the back. Unfortunately, the Dolphin is a direct counter to the Scorpion. Everything in Super Auto Pets basically has counterplay, which is great. And I don't know if I'll be able to kill it. I will. That's another win. Okay, 7 out of 10. I have some chances here. I have some chances. Let me sell this Scorpion. Buff up the dragon. There's another dragon. I don't think it's worth getting this because all the rest of my units are too important right now. And now look, it's gonna give not only 1 stat point to everyone, but 2 stat points to everyone. Huge value right here. And you know what? Worst case scenario, I just get another Scorpion. I'm cooking right now. Can I say I've not played Super Auto Pets in a long time. I feel good about. Oh look, strong unit up front. It's gonna deal 27 damage as long as I don't get sniped by this leopard. Everything is okay. I didn't get sniped by the leopard. I lost my armor. It was probably the 2nd worst person it could hit. That's okay. I mean, I'm dealing so much damage here. It's so good that I kept that Rhino. 8 out of 10 wins. Goodbye, Scorpion. You didn't do bad there. Let me tell you, you didn't do bad at all. And I want more tier 1 pets here. Oh my god, just beautiful. Just beautiful. Okay, here's what I'm gonna do. Horse. Get the horse, sell the horse. Beaver. Get the beaver. Now this is where I'm gonna get crazy. Sell the beaver. The reason being, the melon I think is just so much more important. So I'm gonna put that right there. I'm gonna move this guy back in case they have something that does splash damage. And I'm running with 4 pets. I have an empty slot, but I think that was better value. And look at that. Splash damage on the bus. Doesn't get rid of my shield. It's perfect. Now they have a summon team. This is the first summon team we've seen. The numbers here are gonna be crazy. They just keep summoning things left and right. We'll see if my Rhino can counter this. So every time it kills something here, it's gonna spawn another little orb, another little blast. That's gonna get rid of that shield. And it's gonna be a tie. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. I actually would have won if I had 1 more pet in the back, but I think that shield was very important, so we're good. I'm not gonna buy the cow anymore. I don't think it's worth it because my dragon is just too good. Another melon that I might as well give to my swan. Oh, we are cooking here. You know what? I'm gonna save this melon. I'm also gonna save the snake. Pig is so good because when I sell it, it gives me even more gold. Crazy shop we have on our hands right now. I think the best thing for my survival is probably just to keep scaling. Even if I lose this level, it's okay. And save these. Save these 3. Okay, I'm happy with this. I am happy with this. Ooh, look, Scorpion up front, but I had a shield. Huge! We're up to 9 wins already. Oh my god, my scaling has been crazy. The dragon drop was insane. Oh, I was so worried about super auto pets, but I mean, okay, I can't say anything yet. Cannot say anything yet. I have thrown better runs than this. Otter. Even more XP, even more stats for everyone, excuse me. Look at that. Duck. I mean, the duck is coming all the way back around. Look at that. 50-47. That's a max attack duck right there. Technically, with items, you can make it even stronger, but you don't really need to most of the time. Another summon team. Okay. This is what we have the Rhino for. Let's see if we can do it. Now, unfortunately, this is what I was worried about. This shield is going to get destroyed by the bus. It's okay. It's not a big deal. Not a big deal. As long as we get rid of this shark, which is going to turn into 50 attack, 50 HP, I'll be okay. Look at this. This is max HP, but I punch all the way through it. And that's a super auto pets victory. Game 1 on turn 15, which is honestly pretty quick. That went 10 times better than I ever could have anticipated. All right, only a few games left now. It's some hard ones. Let's spin the wheel. I still have my reroll too, which is crazy. Oh, and it's dead cells. This is the game I'm the least confident in. You know what? I just said it. I might as well use my reroll. I have one chance at it. If it gives me dead cells again, so be it.
This is the new absolute best Gunlance and Impact Chargeblade build in What's up fellas, Chubb here. Welcome to the best builds in Title Update 3. A quick thing to note before we begin is all Optima builds. This Optima 3, Agitator 1 with 3 slots. Slotted for Focus, Guard Up, and Magazine on the Guardian Artfoil Gunlance. While the armor is slotted for 3 Chain Jewels, 3 Escape Jewels, 3 Challenger Jewels, 2 Maintenance Jewels, 1 Jumping Jewel, 1 Shockproof Jewel, and 1 Magazine Jewel. Again, it's all the skills you need for Gunlance. But the highlight is the set bonus Burst Boost, giving us an additional +8 attack with Burst, which is the only way to increase shell damage. And of course, we have Guts. Using the same build except the Challenger Charm, slotted slightly differently in both the weapon and the armor, gets near the same skills, opting for Divine Protection to tank properly. And of course, the same exact set bonuses, but this is the new absolute best Gunlance and Impact Chargeblade build in Title Update 3. Utilizing 2-piece Beta Ebony, 2-piece Gamma Nua Udra, and Gamma Nua
Greetings,
Greaves
Smithy.
with the Challenger Charm and Rock.
Greetings, Smithy.
Cotton?
Yes, that is this human's name, I think.
Do you need something?
Please
To each skill, this is a set with 3 Counter-Strike from before the patch, and again, 501 Counter-Strike to gain and Sword and Shield, non-offset, non-hyper armor weapons, and it will see much more use for those ones. But even then, you're still gonna have 2 Counter-Strike, so it's not like it's just gone completely, and then in comparison, this one still hits 508.5 effective, and this has always been the case. Didn't really want to use Counter-Strike before, crafted with the relevant ticket.
we making today? What are we making today? Yes. Hunt is on! Yikes, spikes! Those could come in handy on a hunt. Power up, activated! Moving to a new area. Monsters alarm! I'll drop a flashlight in! Another monster's horning in! in mind? Shaybar. You know where to find me.
can set up camp there.
Everyone here has been doing well, Hunter.
Hey. What are we making today? Subar? Done already?
Yes. monster drop something.
Jason be mayhem.
Hello.
Yep. Got something in mind?
Hello.
Hello. I'm ready to work. Perfection.
Hello.
Hello. Look good?
Perfection.
Ready to get to work? Perfection. Ready to get to work? Perfection.
Hello.
Ready to get to work? Perfection. Now that's a good choice. we making today? Hello. Look good? Alright, perfection. Come back anytime.
Right. I have an update. We've been issued fresh supply items.